What's going on, man?
How much? You ready for tonight's show?
Yeah, I just went live.
Um,
Okay, it's time for the bait and sketch show. Getting into your minds. It's time for the bait and sketch show. Blowing up your minds and your body and your soul. Erupting in your pants. It's the bait and sketch show. The maple leaf just fell off of the tree. It's the bait and sketch show. We're coming through prehistoric times. Bait and sketch show. Who can stand Judd? Nobody can. But Chris puts up with him while he's strangling him to death. The Bait and Sketch Show is here, ladies and gentlemen, live from Canada. It's Chris and Judd, the Bait and Sketch Show.
Nice, Tommy. Thanks, man. Good intro.
Joey says this is just a rehash of Mailbox Boonscallion, and then he starts to boo.
Is it? Is this just a purposing of a? Was this already a song of yours?
This is one of the better ones. This is Tom. Yeah,
Okay.
I thought.
I
I mean, the
enjoyed
part where it said you were going to strangle me, but yeah, it's pretty good.
He has a new song every show. I mean, what we can't expect complete originality every time. That's asking a bit much, I guess.
I mean,
I'm gonna play this game.
Handle repeated bass lines. I mean,
yeah, sure.
Well, I'll let you guys go, and you guys have a great show tonight. I just came in to do that intro for you guys, and
Okay, all right.
you guys have a great show.
Yeah, thanks for running the intro, Tommy. Thank you.
You're
you can
welcome.
stay around if you want, man. It's cool.
I know, but I have some stuff I have to do. I
Okay, well, you have the
promise.
link if you want to pop back in, bud. Catch you later.
Awesome Blossom.
Okay.
Everybody
Hey, Corey.
subscribe. Everybody subscribe to the Bait and Sketch Show. Get them up to 100K subs, and make sure they are the best next YouTube channel here. And if you want to see Judd thrown down a flight of stairs, put the word yes in the chat.
Cool.
If you get to 100,000, I'll let that happen. Not kidding.
Let's do it. This stream, the road to 100,000 subs. Can we do it in this stream? I don't know.
I'll see you guys later. Stay positive.
Corey, what's up?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Not much. I have an article. I don't know if you saw it because you just joined in, but
Yeah, I
I
just
wanted to
joined.
talk about this article on the right. Oh shoot, sorry, that's not the link. Well, I guess I can just kind of read it, but I'll send it to Corey so he can open it. Audience, help me out on what this means exactly. Organic molecule discovered. It's supposed to be interstellar. So this is like in another solar system. Researchers have found an organic molecule essential to biology in interstellar space for the first time. Experts announced that a discovery that could help solve a long-time mystery. Like humans, organic molecules make up the universe, can lean left or right-handed, a preference known as chirality. Most molecules on Earth lean left, but scientists don't know why. Okay. So
All right.
on Earth. What a weird. Sorry, that's a weird setup to this article. Okay, so the recently discovered interstellar molecule is the most complex ever discovered outside our solar system. It's detected in interstellar space. It's a pioneering leap forward in our understanding of prebiotic molecules, how they're made in the universe, and the effects they may have on the origins of life. Scientists have found chiral molecules in meteorites on Earth and comets in our solar system, but never before in interstellar space.
Cool.
Never mind that crap. Mars might remove M&Ms.
What?
The most important element in the entire universe.
Mars?
Mars, the candy company, might take out M&Ms.
Wait, isn't Mars another Wait, isn't it Nestle or something owns that?
No, Mars does, and they're going to take them out of the McFlurry. making the McFlurry a bastion wasteland of processed frozen shit because there are no McFlurry.
I never get M&Ms in my McFlurry.
What do you use?
I like the Oreo.
Fine, that's the only other acceptable flavor. If you get Smarties, you're 2 years old. But like M&M is just like an adult version of Smarties. No?
Yeah, they're
Beyond
classier
Yes.
Smarties, you think?
Say
So
what?
what's this game that you're playing, Chris?
I don't know if I'm gonna get this going. It's like pretty laggy, but we've played this
Uh-huh.
before. It's called Pioneer, and it's like a space trading simulator.
Mm,
Now, I just kind of took off randomly here. I'm supposed to like request clearance before I take off, so I'll probably get shot down by space cops any second now. But
YOLO, Chris.
Yeah.
let's see if I can.
In a statement to Reuters, Mars said the company, whatever it is, Reuters. I never knew how to pronounce that. It's not important. The important part is that Mars said the company has talked with many fast food chains about removing its candies from sugary dessert treats, including McDonald's McFlurry. Mars is concerned desserts that feature its candies, such as the McFlurry, Burger King's Snickers pie, and Dairy Queen's Blizzard, oh, you communists, exceed in a single serving the amount of sugar the U.S. government recommends anyone eat in a day, the
So
source
what?
said.
Hold up. What singles out M&Ms over any other candy?
Well, Chris,
Okay.
that kind of sugar load conflicts with Mars's public stance that sweets are best enjoyed in moderation. Oh, I don't
Do
know.
we have to like look at the? Do we have to look at like the nutritional facts on M&Ms and other chocolate bars? I don't know why they're singling out the M&Ms. I mean,
It's
candy has sugar. Is that like a new revelation that people weren't aware of or something?
Or why don't they just say, all right, you're using way the balls too much M&Ms, use this many instead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
How many M&Ms in a McFlurry? Just a second, we'll figure this out. Also, like, who doesn't just scoop M&Ms out by the like sickening, shameful handful and just pile them into their face? Like, who are these moderate M&M eaters? Because I promise you, I haven't, or I don't want to meet them.
Yeah,
Was there
I guess so.
what was their wording? It sounded like it was like a moral issue or something.
Chris, you're breaking
What is
up.
that, Robot Chris?
If this game again.
I think what he was trying to say is you're absolutely correct. Everything in moderation, including moderation. More M&Ms, please. How many M&Ms in a McFlurry?
Yeah, I don't.
Gosh darn it. They don't tell you.
Joey eats M&Ms one at a time.
Oh, that sounds very aggravating. And time consuming.
You gotta eat one color at a time.
Oh no, that's just common sense. Or else they. Oh, I can hear myself back in Chris's mic. It sounds so weird. Because Chris sounds like a friggin' 70s Atari game. It's like, don't worry, Chris. You'll beat the Space Titans someday. All right, there's 650 calories in a McFlurry. Total fat is 23 grams. That's 35% of your daily value. So that's it seems high, but if you think about it, you'd have to eat like 4 of them to surpass what you need, and no one's doing that. Fat is 14 grams. That's 70%. All right, so that's getting pretty high up there. But still gives you 3/10 of the way to go. Trans fat is 0.5 grams. You're balling. 50 milligrams of cholesterol, 180 milligrams of sodium, which is 8%. I love how sodium is always in like the trillions for daily value. Like 180 milligrams of it's at 8%. Like, if it was like crack or something, you'd be on the moon. But sodium you could ingest apparently by like the carton full and you're good.
Yeah.
Dietary fiber is a gram. Sugars are 80. Holy crap. 89 grams of sugar. That's like that's like some people's leg.
Yeah.
It's a lot. 450 milligrams of calcium, though, so I assume you have the strongest bones in all the land. And 13 grams of protein. What the crap? What's in a McFlurry? Is it half steak? What is this? No, for real.
Yeah, that's a lot. They're not that good for you.
Domi Arigato. All right. Apparently not. All right, but M&Ms are the best thing ever. There's an M&M's store
But
in New York, and
I
I'm
I
curious.
prefer a Blizzard to a McFlurry.
Yeah, oh yeah, because a Blizzard is like, because Dairy Queen knows what they're doing. McDonald's
Hmm.
is just a hack version of the Blizzard.
Yeah.
There's no argument here. If you want to argue, go in the comments below, and I will mock you for liking processed machine-made ice cream versus actual dairy. What the point is that what the point I want to get is: has anyone been to a New York M&M store? And if so, what's the point of it? Are there like certain M&Ms you can only get there, or can you put like special requests? Like I only want the green ones.
I never knew there was an M&M store.
I did, but I always thought it was stupid, so I didn't go in. We're gonna move this to New York one day. This show once we get like big time, like a
Yeah.
comic who sells out, and we go to M&M World.
LA. We're gonna go
No,
to
not LA. Oh,
LA.
go to New York. We're not pretty enough for LA. All the young comics go to LA. We're going to New York.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Speaking of which, did you know that there's a Las Vegas M&M store? It's not just in New York. There's one in Las Vegas. And speaking of Las Vegas, Chris, did you know that they're getting a hockey team?
I did know that. Well, potentially, right?
I think it's happening.
It's 2 seasons away from happening. I think if it works out, but yeah, people are like weird about it, eh? I mean, one thing about that is that like you question, are they going to have? I'm sure they'll have attendance. Like I'm sure that stadium will be full for just as a tourist thing to go there. But are they going to have like a regular hardcore fan base there?
That's
It
an
seems like it's
interesting.
going to be like a tourist thing. Like, hey, let's go watch a hockey game or something while you're there, right? But
I guess. My thinking is this. When Winnipeg got their expansion team, we had two people come to Sirius XM Canada in the basement there, and they were from the board of directors or something. And I asked them, like, why do you think, it won't end up the same way as before? Because initially there's always excitement. And they said, well, no, I think we're going to have a sustained fan base. Yeah, there's some spiel. I don't remember what it was. It didn't satisfactorily answer my question. But the thing about Las Vegas is it's a town of curiosity, of curios, that's unusual. So even people who don't like hockey might just go there. The thing is, initially, every team I think gets a big like boost, from people who are excited about a new team, a new team, a new team. So the question is, are you going to get just tourists coming in every day and a bunch of snowbirds who come in from Canada, which is still admittedly much smaller than the U.S. just in terms of population? Or you're going to get a hardcore fan base of people who live there because it's the fastest growing U.S. city. People move there every day in droves.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know. Like just intuitively, I don't think that they're going to have that hardcore regular fan base like that. I think it would just be kind of a gimmick. Maybe when the team's doing well, or if they happen to have like a star player at that time or something, then just people again, yeah, like you said, Canadians and stuff will go there like just as a tourist thing or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. There's already teams in some pretty weird markets, so I guess like it's not going to be any stranger than having than the Coyotes or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Would they be rivals? But they'd be natural rivals for the Coyotes,
Yeah,
and that would be cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, the best thing that could come out of that, I think, is that Nashville gets pushed into the Eastern Conference because they're kind of in a weird. Well, Nashville's in a weird place. They're kind of like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that far from where Tommy is, right? And he's not like much more west than we are, but they're in. So they're in the Western Conference. They play Western Conference teams, but they have to travel a lot more to get to any of these to actually play the games.
Right.
It was crazy. The stats something in the playoffs, something like this was at the end of the second round. The Capitals had traveled something like just over 1,000 miles, and the Predators had traveled 20,000 miles at that point. Wow. So I mean that catches up with a team, right? Like it doesn't seem fair. Another team's traveling 20 times more than another team to the these playoff games. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they should be in the Eastern Conference. It should be like geographically close to your other teams. That's the idea.
Yeah, so hopefully the divisions will have to move around, or some team will have to get moved. So maybe they get lucky. That'll be cool if they do. But
Well,
what's the other team again? So there's two, right? Las Vegas, and what was the other one they were
They were
considering?
floating the idea of Quebec City, but apparently that's not happening.
Right.
The Oakland Raiders have had serious discussions with Vegas people, or Vegas like politicians, I guess, or who's ever in charge of this in recent months about a move to Nevada, which is disgusting and gross. How dare you? The Oakland Raiders are like the coolest football team ever.
Hmm.
Why would you move to Vegas? That's
Mhm.
almost as lame as the time they moved to Los Angeles, But anyway, no, they were talking. I don't know what the second team is. We could look it up right now. But I thought I wasn't too sure. The other example that we haven't brought up yet, either on Rasmus Rants or this show, is that it dilutes the talent pool every time you expand the league, right?
You're right.
Or they say. I don't know if one or two teams can do that enough. Or do you think that does it, Chris?
I don't think it's significant.
Okay, then.
Like one team. Two teams, maybe, but I don't know. You'd have to see. Like, there's a lot of good players out there that also don't get drafted, right?
My mic just froze up there. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, Judd, I also think that it's starting to. I think maybe that needs to happen though, because like it's starting to get. That's part of the reason that like scoring and stuff is down. I think is just like the talent level is so. You have people playing on like the third and fourth line. 10 years ago, you had people on your fourth line that literally could probably skate as well as I can, and I can't skate. Like I don't think I've tried since I was like just 5 or something. But there's people that are just literally there on the fourth line or whatever just to throw punches, and that doesn't happen anymore. Like even your third and fourth liners now
They're
have these
really talented players.
yeah, they have the skill of people that were playing in the top 6. Borderline top 6 players even 10 years ago. So maybe that'll help with like again increasing scoring and stuff to actually have some weaknesses and stuff in some of these teams, but I don't know.
I think defense is on its way out as the Oilers attempt to rebuild into that scoring machine they used to be. I think for like New Jersey trap defense and that kind of low scoring 97 to 2002 kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever
well,
the fuck the timeline was. But you know what I'm talking about? The time where New Jersey just bored us all to absolute.
mhm. Well, I mean, the teams that were successful this year, like the Sharks and the Penguins and stuff, those are those like speedy, offensively skilled teams. Not that they have like terrible defense or anything, but that's not what they're known for.
Well, yeah,
Not like a Chicago or something, right? Like L.A. or Chicago is more like that. Defensively responsible. They have one solid two-way forward that like Kopitar or Taze or whatever is. They're good offensively, but they're defensively responsible on from their whole offense, and they kind of are a net out team or whatever. I don't know if that's starting to change. Like again the Sharks and the Penguins and stuff. Tampa Bay's doing well now, and yeah, I don't know. Like they were saying that a team like Edmonton can't be successful, right? Like that they have too many of the same types of players. They're just like these fast, speedy, offensively skilled guys or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like maybe they could, or even the Leafs are starting to load up on those prospects, and could an Edmonton or Leafs be like a? I don't think it's too far-fetched to say they could look like a Penguins or a Sharks team or something in a few years.
The Leafs will never look like anything because they always have people who will pay season's tickets, and then why would I bother spending money when I can make a profit?
Well, the Oilers are sort of in the same boat, right? Like the Oilers are never going to not be a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe ish, but on the way, like Toronto has consistently sold out buildings since their inception. It's just
Forever.
the way it is.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter how bad they're doing too, like the fans are gonna pack the house anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas when my parents lived in Edmonton, they made it a point to go watch Gretzky if he was coming to some miles. You know what I mean? Like they were
Mhm.
there every game. He broke Howe's record, and I think it wasn't like you'd go see Kelly Bookberger or go see
Yeah, but just
Brian
Edmonton,
what's his name or
just
Howe.
Edmonton's like yeah, just their merchandise and stuff alone though. I'm sure they're making money. I'm sure like
Yeah.
no matter how the team's doing, like
Yeah, but because of the players and who they have, I think they were like star players. If it was
yeah, but they're living on they had those star players 15 years ago and they're still living off that legacy. Like
oh yeah, but there was this early period when after they all left when it was kind of garbage. Did you know that Nelson Rills of the of Rios of a of the NDP went so far as to ask the government to block the trade? That's pretty cool. When they wanted to trade Gretzky.
Really.
mm,
Yeah.
I didn't know that they would have like the authority to. I mean, I know the rules and stuff for trades were different then, right? But I don't know the exact story behind that. Like they say that LA essentially bought Gretzky from Edmonton, right?
That's how it worked.
So obviously you can't do that now. You can't just give a team money for like straight up for a player.
They bought some others. They also took, I think, Coffee and Yari Curry with them as well, and McSorley. They raided the entire team.
Yeah, I think Gilina got traded. What didn't Martin Gilina get
Oh,
traded?
actually got traded. Oh no, actually stayed around for like one more year, I think, because they won in '90.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Um.
Point is, that was when they were really really successful, and then when Todd Marchand or Markman or whatever his name is was like the captain like in 2006, 7, whatever the figure was. Like they weren't selling as much. It's just common sense, right? And then now they're really potentially great. It's when teams are popular, they're popular. I mean, look at the Blue Jays. Right now, everyone loves the Jays. They're doing well.
Yeah.
I think post 80s, like 70s, 80s expansion teams, not things like the Cubs or um, who the frig else. There's certain other teams that are just always gonna, like the Boston Red Sox, they're just always gonna have that scrappy underdog appeal. But I don't think the Nashville Predators or the Edmonton Oilers or kind of a more nouveau teams have that. And a team like Las Vegas will have to deal with that, like the growing pains of opening into a rapidly changing society where in 5 years your cell phone is completely out of date, and people move on. TV shows, people watch them in a night. They're not really big on, oh, I'm going to wait till this team is watchable and then I'll watch them. It's kind of like I'll watch them once and it's over.
Yeah. Then those newer teams have a lot more pressure to be good, and yeah, I think the draft system and stuff should possibly change because of that as well. Because like how many, again, like Edmonton, they can get these first round picks. They can finish last every year, and again, maybe they're not pulling in the money or whatever. Like yeah, Toronto is I think they were just surpassed as the richest team. I think it's like the Rangers now or something.
Yeah, but it's been like a back and forth thing between Toronto and New York and stuff.
Right. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, Toronto's obviously always going to be making crazy amounts of money, but Edmonton, like I said, I think it would take a lot just based off the legacy alone of losing for Edmonton to not be a team. I mean, look at how bad they've been for the last 7 years. If Nashville was in Edmonton's place, or Carolina or Phoenix was doing as badly as Edmonton for the last 7 years,
different story.
They probably wouldn't be Arizona or Nashville or South Carolina. They'd be a different team, and they'd be relocated, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Nashville or South Carolina doesn't have the luxury of finishing first 5 years in a row, getting those good, and that's weird. It makes the draft system make sense in a way, but again, not every team can
benefit from that. Right.
Can be so bad and then luck out and get great picks and then still manage to um, be a team like through the end of it.
Yeah. For a
I
fresh team, I think it's really important for them to have a strong team, right?
Yeah.
So.
hmm Well, yeah, and I'd wonder if a team like Las Vegas or something might make like a
Mhm.
big splash and try to because I don't know exactly how it's going to work with the protected players on each
Yeah.
team, but like I was advocating that maybe Nashville has a really solid top four. Shea Weber is obviously that's their captain, that's their
hmm
highest paid player, but he's like 30, 31 ish or something, and
hmm
he's signed for like another 8 or 9 years for 7.5 million. He's signed until
Wow.
he's over 40. He's going to be making
hmm
7.5 million a year. So the last couple years of that contract might be kind of brutal, and I would almost advocate for. I think Nashville can protect three defensemen. I would almost not protect him. Like he's probably the second best on the team, but just because of the contract.
Yeah.
Um, and I wonder if Las Vegas or somebody would take him now just to be like, hey, we got he's a star player. He's got like
hmm
the fastest slap shot in the league. Come
hmm
see this monster do a slap shot through the net or something. Like it's just
Yeah.
some show to put on or something. And to make a bit. I don't know if Las Vegas can come in and be like, hey, no, we're gonna really take our time and develop people for 5 or 6 years or whatever.
Yeah, that's not going to happen though for a fresh team, right? Like that
Yeah.
whole development needs to be really quick
hmm
because people just aren't going to show up to a losing team.
Yeah, you got to have a couple of players, I think, that people already know at least or whatever that kind
Yeah,
of get as
that
a
could pull in a
reason to.
crowd. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting. I think that won't happen next season. I think it'd be 2 seasons from now at the earliest. But let's see what happens with that. Ali Desane, I don't know what that is. Puma Punku H blocks. Can we talk about that?
don't idea.
I'm willing to, but you gotta
Elaborate, sir.
fill us in on that a little. Um, Back to aliens. Do you want us back to aliens? I mean, I still have that article up. It's an organic molecule, interstellar. It's in another solar system. How did they discover it? It's in the article here. One of the most complex, structurally intricate molecules detected so far in space. Larger, more complex molecules have more complicated vibration patterns, making them more difficult to identify. How did they discover it, though? Something that was a radio wave thing?
Maymay could be making it up. Like, how the fuck would we know?
Yeah, that's
If
true.
I was a scientist, the amount of
Yeah,
fake discoveries I would pump out.
Make something new every day.
that's true. Hey, didn't we
Dot
have this?
Dot invents butter that doesn't stick to your pans. So,
Didn't we have this argument last week or something? Hey, I've never seen a monkey turn into a person. How do I know?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen that happen. What?
respect everyone.
Some scientist is telling me secondhand. I mean, how do I know it's true? So they used an extremely sensitive radio telescope. Found more than 180 molecules in interstellar space. This is unprecedented as they found it near the center of our galaxy in an enormous star-forming cloud of dust and gas.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't follow that like that much, but like, there's only so many stars that are within range of the technology that we use to whatever they're doing to like ping these stars and stuff and see what frequencies come back. I mean, whatever their methods are for. Maybe we can talk to Laura about that on another day or something. But I mean, I wonder what percentage or like how much of stuff that's within range we've already looked through.
hmm
I was just saying, it says something about even and odd order harmonics, which I only know from like phase pedals, right, Corey? Don't they?
What?
What's the one that like? Hang on a minute. Even and odd harmonics, even and odd order harmonics. I'll find it. There's a guitar pedal that allows you to do that.
Is that what they're even referencing, or?
No, that's all I know. It's even in art. Either way, so what, I guess this means what then for us as a whole?
What's that?
The difference between frequency will cause a resonant frequency.
Okay.
So you have one frequency, another frequency. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so
frequencies, like you can hear the difference in them. When different frequencies play at the same time, they create a resonance, right? That what if or no? Yeah, exactly.
What are you guys talking about?
Like, you ever tuned a guitar by harmonics?
Yeah.
So the resonant frequency, once you get it in tune, it sounds like one frequency, right?
Okay.
Versus when it's not in tune, you hear two different frequencies sort of bouncing back off of each other.
Right.
They're resonating against each other, right? So.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the best way I could kind of describe it.
So how do we get on this?
It has to do with
Okay.
Puma Punku H blocks.
I don't know how we.
I doubt that aliens made them, because from what I've researched, it was
what? This is a door, you
Tiwanaku
dipshit.
civilization.
Are we looking at the same thing? You pulled it up, Judd, I assume. It's the door of the Puma. Is this what we're looking at?
Mm-hmm. And I'm Mara, which is not in space, but on Earth.
Yeah, Bolivia, right?
But you were confused who made these? They're fucking Lego shit. They're like what you make in a Play-Doh machine. How can you be so confused by this? Alright, hang on.
Aliens made the H blocks.
Okay.
I doubt it.
This is on an episode of Ancient Aliens.
And the Play-Doh Fun Food Factory while they're at it. There's screen share this. I'm going to screen share this. Goofy. Hang on. Screen share. Aliens made the pyramids. Why? What purpose would that possibly serve? There's an alien. Why would I make a dumb sand castle? Like 9,000 feet high. Waste of a vacation.
Okay, so why was it made by aliens? So the engineering of it, the largest of these stone blocks is 7.81 meters long. Because the dimensions, so pretty big. Estimated to weigh about 131 metric tons. The second largest stone block found 7.9 meters, 85 metric tons. Both of these stone blocks are part of the Plataforma Litica, composed of red sandstone. Okay, so they're big rocks, yeah. Archaeologists argue that the transport.
Are you talking about the H blocks still, or?
Yeah, this is the Puma. Wait, what is it called? Puma Punku.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, if the Egyptians could use like pulleys and levers and systems like that, like who's to say that these guys couldn't have done that either, right? So I can't see this being unreasonable for humans to do, rather than an ancient, like alien civilization.
We need to go and do this ourselves. We need to find a piece of rock and then cut out these bizarre shapes. I think someone just screwed up. Because look at this top one here. Like this one, oh man, like the highest, artist in the land made this dude. This guy is solid as a rock, inside a rock. And this one is like, oh, go stretch. And then this one is like, oh, you're getting closer. And then these two were like, all right. So like the only one that's like alien-esque is this one in the middle, which is made by like, the supreme artisan warlord. Because this one, literally someone's kid got a hold of a drill. Come on. Look at this thing. It's atrocious. There wasn't much quality control in the ancient world. You couldn't like send things back. You know?
There wasn't a like a stamp or like some sort of kit that made these blocks, right? They're all made by hand.
Yeah, you couldn't be like
a mold that made them.
My spaghetti is too salty. I need to send it back.
We're still live, eh?
Yeah, I believe so.
My computer sucks. I hope this call doesn't end soon. Sorry, back on that. I don't know if you guys moved on already, but yeah, just as far Corey was talking about like the Egyptians and stuff and how they could like move these large objects and stuff. I've seen like reenactments of the same sort of thing where they can what would they call it when you have like if you can get like a small rounded rock or something even and get like a pivot something to basically like pivot underneath a large object like that, then you can basically
move it easily.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's just like I've seen somebody move a barn with like a jack and like a pivot or something, and you just basically and they just walk it. I mean, they just like, walk it back and forth. I mean, yeah, like you had a large object on wheels or something, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's totally possible. All that ancient alien stuff, it bugs me as somebody who kind of has studied archaeology and stuff a little bit, that they like don't give people enough credit. I feel, right?
I mean, also like you look at that, like look at Leonardo da Vinci as well. Like a lot of his ideas and like drawings that were rebuilt like in modern day would have like surpassed so many things if they were actually built, like so many like time records, you know, like
right.
We're talking about his flight with his glider would have surpassed like the first glide for that certain amount of time like that they recorded, you know. And also like he had some sort of like weapon catapult that they compared to what modern technology would consider being the best design for it. Then they put it up against his design, and his design was like way more. It performed way better than what like modern theories would have said would work better.
Yeah, there's always some kind of like, you know, blueprint or something that you can go back to the past, and it's some, you know, conceptualization of the same idea or something that's already exist. Like it's not like these new technologies just come out of nowhere, and I think that's probably the main thing that bothers me out of it, is that they're just literally these ancient alien shows. They're like, and then this new thing came, and it must have just like cell phones just dropped from the sky, and then we all had cell phones. All of it, like there's you know, if you actually wanted to study the history of that technology, there's a million little inventions and stuff that
people
went along and led to that. Not to go on like a total tangent, but we were talking the other day about like even like pre-human people or whatever, lithic tools and stuff, like little hand axes and stuff, like those are, it's not just a monkey throwing a rock at a wall and then it has a sharp edge. I mean, these are like, you know, things that carbon dated back 20-30,000 years, way pre-pyramids, that like you would have had to have like an actual understanding of physics and stuff to know how to sculpt these types of things or whatever, right?
Yeah, well, like even for axes, like you said, like they would chip the rocks away, or they would like grind them onto other rocks to create a sharp edge. You know, they knew how to make tools like that. So that goes back 10, 20,000. I mean, it goes back hundreds of thousands of years, even before modern humans existed. And how different is it that I mean, the basic concept of a lot of those things seems pretty similar to these grand monuments and stuff in Egypt. It's just on a much smaller scale, but it's the same ideas of the same techniques that went into building the pyramids or whatever started out on that small scale, just with lithic tools and stuff, right? It's not like it just came out of nowhere. I don't know. That's what bugs me the most from that ancient alien show. And then they go back into these religious texts and stuff, and they're like, yeah, well, they said it was this snake god or something came down, but it was really probably a reptilian alien or something, because obviously we know that there's no, like, they're so like condescending, like, oh, like
Oh well, obviously the pagan religion is false, and there's no pantheon of gods or anything. But aliens, though, that's now we're onto something. Now, like that, like you're just substituting one paranormal weird explanation for another one. I don't know how you can give the alien theory any more credence than the
Yeah.
religious thing in the in some ancient text. I don't know.
I think they're not. I think they're using it as credence. Like this is a recording of what would be aliens, right?
Hmm.
Their estimation. It's a recounting of that.
Right, but there's also a thing that's like, weren't they so naive and silly to think like they're like, yeah, I mean, they probably saw this guy flying on a star or something, but it was actually an alien flying on a spaceship. But how?
Ignoring that it might have been a metaphorical story or something.
Well, yeah, I
You
mean,
know, even like the book of Genesis is immediately followed by a second book of Genesis, almost as if to tell you that this is a symbolic story.
right,
Hmm.
yeah,
like we repeat it twice.
no, it was an alien, man.
Like anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Ali DeSaint says, get Johnny Fears in here. He is a reptilian.
No, I think he's just. What? How do you figure there, Ali? Are you fighting with him now?
Did you get
No.
far away from your mic, Judd? I can't hear you.
Oh, all right. Now you cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Is he an expert on alien, reptilian stuff? Joey says to get him in here, too.
We can pretend he is. Put him in
Um,
glasses. Call him an expert. Next week, make him an expert of something else. Put him in a wig. Just save ourselves time and money getting experts in.
I'm sure he would do it, too. He's always down to join any stream he can get in.
Yep.
I'm sure he'd be willing to.
Where did transistors come from? They've been around forever.
I think it was probably
Since
yeah.
they needed radios,
probably aliens.
Yeah, probably aliens, right?
Alien radio must suck. Like, I bet they're really censored in things.
No, they have transistors, man.
No, but I bet like aliens are like excessively progressive, so they're like really PC. So like it's like super sanitized and like safe and
Yeah,
all like top 40 stuff. I bet alien radio completely sucks.
not offensive at all.
Like you thought Katy Perry was annoying. Imagine alien Katy Perry.
They tailor to all gender stereotypes, and they don't discriminate against anybody, right?
I don't know. I'm not an alien. What do you think aliens would be like? What do you think their social life would be?
I don't know.
Is Rupert Neve an alien? Let's find out. Rupert Neve. Hang on. Rupert Neve. Hang on. Where's Rupert Neve?
So this Puma Punku thing is what from 700 AD or something? Like that's pretty late.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it's
people
not like.
figured it out.
I mean, there were many more civilizations that died way before that too.
Yeah. I think people had figured out sculpting by that point. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Remnants of psychoactive substances in many mummies found in Tiwanaku culture. Importance of substances.
Ali DeSaint is really upset. I don't know who Richard Neve is. He was born in July 19th.
Rupert.
And had something to do with microphone preamps.
Oh, Neve Audio? Was that like his thing?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Ali DeSaint's bringing up all this obscure stuff and
Neve Electronics or whatever. Okay, yeah. They make those famous microphones and stuff. The ones that are like thousands and thousands of dollars, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You pulling up Rupert Neve?
No, I just look at Neve Electronics. Neve, whatever his name is. But yeah, I've heard of their condenser mics and stuff. Or their mixing boards or
Or like made out of wood or something like that.
I have no idea.
Looks pretty human to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd say he's not a human. Yeah.
It's like a, I don't know, regular old man. Perfectly human. 89. Do people live that long normally? That's a little suspicious.
Pretty long. That's a little suspicious.
I don't know. Look more into that.
I know Edward Howard Armstrong invented FM radio. I know Gene Shepard. Like, what do you want? I can't know everybody. Calm down. People always do that, where they're like, you're really into blank, blank, blank. And like, yeah, have you watched this series? Like, no. Like, oh, I can't believe you don't know. Like, one band out of 50. Oh, you're a complete simpleton. Like, you know what? I also have hobbies in life, right? What about you? Like, oh, I forgot. I got too into music. Like, calm down.
Oh, now he's asking about Nikola Tesla. I love Nikola Tesla. He's amazing.
He was Serbian, and he was like, well, yeah, go ahead.
Greatest inventor of all time, man.
Because he got ripped off by
Thomas Edison.
Exactly. What a freaking fraud Thomas Edison turned out to be.
Well, yeah, we should. That could be a show, I think. Isn't there a lot of stuff with Thomas Edison where he was like an asshole and cheated other people out of?
Oh yeah.
He seems like he's like the Christopher Columbus of inventors, slowly getting defamed like as like more stuff gets turned up on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like crossing the ocean was some kind of no small feat in those days. Like,
actually,
it's still impressive.
Nikola Tesla invented the radio, right? And then his patents or his designs were copied by Marconi.
Yeah.
Who? Yep. Yeah. So a lot of his stuff got ripped off.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even like really that well regarded.
Barely anybody even knows his name these days, I guess.
Yeah.
But everything we use today has some sort of like involvement with his inventions, you know?
The greatest inventor ever was Steve Jobs. I mean, come on.
I don't know about that.
No. He's a marketer, man.
The iPhone. I mean, is there really a comparison?
He didn't engineer the iPhone.
They're blocks, all right? The most impressive Lego set we ever made. But the iPhone has all of human history in a touch of a button.
I think Steve Jobs might be the greatest marketer of all time.
Yeah, he's the greatest marketer of all time.
Fine, but who invented the iPhone?
It's not, I don't think you can really call it an invention. It's just other things that had already been invented, repackaged, and remarketed. I mean, MP3 players already existed. Cell phones already existed. Like, there's nothing new that was really invented when the iPhone came out.
According to Google, this is really convenient. I can just Google who invented the iPhone. It goes iPhone/inventors, and it says Charles J. Pisula, who has a hilarious name. No wonder he had to invent something important. Chris Murray should be remembered as Pisula all his whole life instead of like, oh yeah, Pisula invented the iPhone. Good dude. Chris Blumenberg, Wayne C. Westerman, Henry C. Lamoureux, and Paul DeMarcos. But then Tech.co 2 days ago, as if they were reading my mind, have an article saying Steve Jobs invented the iPhone. Get over it. And then Pelosi says government, not Steve Jobs, invented the iPhone. How the fuck can we not know this? I understand in like 1857, someone smeared ketchup on like a piece of paper and we lose the name of whatever the balls forever. Because, damn it, Steve, that was the only copy we had. But now, like, how do we lose information? It's absurd.
There's a lot of people, I think, attributed to the invention of the iPhone.
Apparently. America invented the iPhone. Last week, a hearing was held to further establish the Democratic Party's approach to the much-contested 2016 election. During the hearing, Nancy Pelosi, the Democratic leader of the House of Representatives, called into question the amount of credit Steve Jobs and Apple should receive for the invention of the iPhone. She insisted that while they put it together, the federal government should be dubbed the creator of Apple's most popular item. Anybody here have a smartphone? Pelosi asked, holding up her own iPhone 6. In this smartphone, almost everything came from federal investments and research. GPS created by the military, flat screens, LLD, digital camera, wireless data compression. I thought they were going to say wireless data like mining and wireless data surveillance, wireless data mining, or wireless data compression, research into metal alloys for strength and lightweight. For strength and lightweight. Okay, you didn't finish your sentence. Voice recognition, human slavery manufacturing. No, the list goes on and on. They say Steve Jobs did a good idea designing it and putting it together. Federal research invented it. Despite the glaring errors in Pelosi's statement, like the misuse of a term LCD and saying that Steve Jobs did a good idea. I like this guy. Her point sets a valid yet dangerous precedent. Yes, the government did invent or did fund almost all the pertinent technology within the iPhone. It's hard to argue that Apple wouldn't have had a terribly difficult time putting it together without software, screens, and metal. However, the value of any piece of technology is not the sum of the parts. Exactly. That's why the hot dog pizza is Pizza Hut's greatest creation and not the product of like Coney Island and Italy together. It isn't. No matter what the believers want you to say. Anyway. It's Pizza Hut. Get over it. Anyway. No. How do, here's a question. How do competitive eaters, poop? After you eat 150 hot dogs, how do you go to the bathroom without, killing yourself?
I'm sure they have laxatives that...
Would you need? Was that the problem?
I assume the glory is temporary, but after, a much bigger problem begins.
We should get who's that dude on YouTube that is pretty famous as a competitive eater?
Oh, I know what you mean.
He's from Toronto. He's from Toronto.
Why? He's from Toronto.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name?
Didn't Juggalo Vlogs just do a chicken nugget challenge or something?
No, a real competitive eater, like one who actually successfully competed. Not
you don't think Juggalo Vlogs?
Oh, something Pete. Something Pete.
Furious Pete?
Furious Pete, yeah.
He's from Toronto?
I think so, or from Ontario at least.
Yeah, I doubt that. Furious Pete.
He is.
We moved to LA now.
I don't think so.
Why?
Ali DeSaint says that Ali DeSaint says she heard that they poop it out as food because the body can't digest it.
Thank you. Matt Stoney is his name. Oh, he holds... Okay. So, Furious Pete holds 9 Guinness World Records in eating and is also a famous YouTuber with 3 million... Did Tommy write this? With 3 million subscribers. 9 world records, but also big on YouTube. Who cares?
Yeah, Mississauga. He's from Mississauga, man.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
I'm looking more at this Puma Punku thing.
We could ask him if he wants to be on. Matt Stoney's the other guy.
I don't know who Matt Stoney is.
Oh, you don't? He's the best. Anyway.
Oh, I might know. Might have heard.
There's also a female competitive eater, which, I don't know, I don't want to ask a question to them, but it'd be impolite.
Juggalo pukes too much to be competitive.
A big flaw in his competitive eating game. Tighten that up. Anyway, no one knows how this happens. No one has a clue.
How they poo after, or?
Yes, that one. I don't know. Alright, whatever.
When I eat a lot. Usually.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure what the... I don't know what the issue is exactly. I mean, wouldn't it be harder not to do that than
Maybe to throw it up after. Maybe you have to like throw it down.
I guess.
Uh,
I mean, Corey's suggesting laxatives, but if you had just eaten like 100 hot dogs, wouldn't it be like just on its way out on its own?
Yeah.
or maybe you
Usually
don't.
it's a big one too.
Like a moon, like a big moon rock. No,
Yeah.
what if it just you don't eat for the next like 7 days because you've basically eaten it, enough, and then like you just regularly expel waste.
Yeah, I'd take that into consideration, I guess. It's as good as that's as good of a plan as any.
Plan.
I don't know, man.
People always get deep into competitive eating and they realize their mistake far too late. Good as a plan. The other question I had. Ah,
What's that?
no,
What's up,
I can't
John?
remember now. No, I can't remember now. How did you even become a competitive eater? Like one day you just wolf down your food at lunch because you only have 5 minutes to get back to a meeting, and someone says, "Hey, have you ever considered you ate that yogurt pretty quickly? Have you ever considered entering into like the Taco Bell Doritos Locos Tacos Taco Nator Tournament 2016?" And you're like, "No, I have not. What are you
And
talking
then
about?"
you enter in.
And then like glory comes to you.
I guess
Or
I'm surprised more people wouldn't like get like when you're younger. Like that's one of that's one of a few things that you can do that's like kind of rebellious or like like a weird thing to do or whatever without getting like too out of hand is just like, dude, let's eat like 60 chicken nuggets or something. Like, I don't know. I remember doing like that was like my dumb irresponsible thing to do in like grade 8 or whatever.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
no,
don't
we
know.
used to
Yeah.
do this just because. Now there's money involved. Why wouldn't you be like, look
Yeah.
at that? Wait till Rib Fest. Like then they'll give us the ribs for free and the chance at money for some reason. Why? And you're right. You can only, it's obviously a young man's sport because if you eat like 3,000 chalupas or like 90 grams of corned beef hash at 65, that might be your last
Yeah.
meal. That
Yeah.
might
Some
be the
health
one that
problems.
does you in. You know what I mean? Like it might just it might as well be a suicide attempt if you want to eat like 90 hard-boiled eggs
Yeah.
at 76. But if you try to do it at like 20, like you're golden. No,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. It's a lot easier for your body to take that abuse, right?
indeed, the rigors of the road. Joey says that the inventor of the Baconator is the greatest inventor ever.
I read that.
I can somewhat agree with it. That's such a good hand sandwich. Because when you go to a fast food joint, like their lettuce can go screw off. Because like I understand fresh lettuce, but that's not what you're getting. You're getting like the worst lettuce of all time. You might as well have just taken the paper that the Big Mac comes in, cut it into a little square, and then like thrown
Butter
that in there.
burger.
Yeah, paper lettuce burger. Like it's pointless. So a Baconator, like it's like all the things you wanted without asking for it. It's like, can you just take off
I
all the
had
greenery?
I had a Baconator once, and I seriously could feel my heart, like it was like a pinching feeling in my heart as I was breathing in. It was like, oh no, the bad side. I never had a Baconator after
This could be the one, Corey,
that.
but yeah.
Yeah, this was when I was in high school. It was like 16, 17 or something.
What kind of weak sauce 17 were you that you could eat a
I
couple
don't know.
strips of bacon?
But I used to eat a lot of fast food, and like something about that Baconator is taking a toll on my body.
I guess it's like the one heroin thing that like and lands you in the hospital and puts you into rehab, or the final
I
drink
don't.
that breaks you as an alcoholic. Eventually, there is that one last shred of bacon where you're like, I have to get my life in order, where the wheels just fall the fuck off.
Now I'm vegan. No, I'm joking. I'm not vegan.
What's the most disgusting, like, embarrassing eating moment of your life where you just look down at your, like, soiled hand and like yourself in the mirror and went, "Thank God, no one I actually care about was here to watch that." Thank goodness, no one filmed that. What is
Eating
your
moment.
Yeah.
I used to do what's it? The junior chicken inside a McDouble would be the McGangbang. That I would occasionally eat.
I had friends actually take pictures of me eat Swiss Chalet at double leg dinner just because it was like so like horrifying.
Ali DeSaint says, I was at a Gigi Allen show one time. That was the worst. Corey's going to go to see the Juggalos on the 30th of June.
What's that? What?
The Juggalos, the clown army thingy. We're going to paint you up and you're going to go as a reporter, because I'm not. Forget that. Or maybe we should go together so we can escape. Yeah, we need like a buddy system. We'll both go to this.
Yeah.
Chris, you want to come to the gathering of the Juggalos? You thought
When is that? When is that?
It's not the gathering. We're not going to the gathering because we can't leave the actually. I think
When
it's
is
June
that?
30th. I don't want to Google this because
June 30th? I'm not.
I'm going to be around.
I'm going to be portaging.
Are you actually serious or are you just fucking around?
I'm actually going portaging.
Oh, is that better or worse? I don't even know.
Did you just ask if that's better or worse?
Yeah, actually, no, it's obviously better. Also, Tractor just messaged me and said, wow. Don't know what he's referring to. Oh, probably about the Democrats shouting down. What about? Hang on, I'll text him back. What about? So we find we're back into our space game there, Chris.
Yeah, I'm trying this is the actual retro version of it. It's the original one.
Oh, wow.
I see. So I'm glad you just went ahead without asking us anything.
Thought it might run better. I don't know. Well, I'm just gonna have it up on the screen. I mean, whatever.
All right.
So
we go farm machinery. That's like obviously
another game of Risk soon.
No, people hate that for some reason.
What?
We need a full house for it. We need Sega Camp in there. We need like 5-6 people going, and probably somebody that's not playing to just like talk while we're strategizing or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm still down to play anytime. Just play Risk.
Yeah.
So, let me know if you ever want to do that.
Okay,
I'm
Corey.
Always down.
We don't need farm machinery. That's obviously a relic of the past. That's like when Mr. Burns and The Simpsons wanted to invest in hay. Don't go there.
I don't think I'm not making a real campaign here. I think I'm just gonna kind of travel around a little bit. Let's try to. I actually don't even really remember like how to launch and stuff properly.
All right, here we go. We're launching out the chute of space. Very, very slowly, I guess, to be safe. Look out for that wall. Oh, it opens. Thank goodness.
Oh, funny thing. Did you guys see the German coach, their soccer coach, put his hand down his pants and then like in his like near his balls, and then he brought his hand out and smelled it?
No, I did not.
It was like all caught live of him smelling his balls. And then I was. There's apparently like so many videos of him like picking his butt and like eating his boogers and stuff. I always catch him doing these nasty things.
There's no way to pull off that like subtly. You can do a subtle nose pick, but the subtle ball scratch into
like during these major sporting events.
Well, you can always the camera's always on you, and also you can always do that thing where you like wipe your nose with like your back of your hand or whatever. For some reason, that's not as weird. But like, as soon as you like are actually in there, you're so done. And then I don't know. You can scratch your balls, I guess. No, you can't even do that surreptitiously, can you? There's no way. No.
But it's just funny. Like I saw a link of all these videos of him doing these nasty things. Forgot his name. But
yeah, no, I didn't see that. We haven't talked about it since. Well, I know Sam did a show about the Orlando thing, but there was another smaller shooting the week before at Do you guys hear about the thing at the airport where like some guy was like holding a rock, smashing his girlfriend's car or something?
What?
And then it was at an airport. At an airport, he's in the parking lot. He throws a rock at a car. I think it's somebody that he knew. And then I guess the guards like outside of the airport are telling him to stop doing that. So he walks up to the guards and with a rock, and they shoot him. I think he ended up dying. But so he was outside of the airport. I guess they were just like being, precautious. He was a few feet away, but maybe they didn't know if he had other weapons and stuff. But it was just interesting watching the news coverage that like they almost get a little excited when stuff like that happens, and it seemed like they were almost kind of let down that it was because it came up that it was breaking gunfire at airport, and then it ended up being that the guards shot this guy that was holding a rock or something. But like it was just funny watching the news coverage. They're like. There's no info on it yet. Like there's maybe a 1.5 minute video that came out like 10 or 15 minutes into it. But I watched like an hour of the coverage on it, and they're like setting it up, and then like somebody comes on the phone and they're like it was a rock, somebody like a witness or something, and then one of the anchors is like. So apparently we're hearing from the live witness that the man was holding a rock of some sort, and just like the wording of it, of just them throwing in like extra word, like a rock of some sort. Like we don't know if it was an igneous rock or it could have been like a sedimentary rock or metamorphic possibly. We're not sure this early in the investigation, but we'll stay tuned. I mean we'll keep you updated on all the details. And they showed like the bed. They showed the rock bed, like it was part of a landscaping thing where it was just a bed of rocks, and they're like, "This is where the rock was from." No update on the condition of the rock at this point. Or we don't know if it'll return.
We're gonna talk to some of these other rocks here.
Yeah.
You were his neighbor. Did you notice anything unusual?
Yeah, he just kind of kept to himself. I don't know. Yeah. Bit of a loner.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, it's sad. I mean, the guy was obviously up to some kind of trouble. Maybe he had mental health issues or something. I'm not sure, but it's just weird that the news gets it does seem like when they can cut to shots fired or something, they'll drag it out as long as they can. And it was a 1-minute story. It wasn't really a big threat or anything, but they want to have that breaking
breaking news type of
right
thing.
They want to have that up as long as they can, I guess.
Oh yeah, breaking news now has lasted all day. We're like,
Yeah.
breaking news: Obama wins president, and it goes all day. Like in
CNN's one of the worst for that from what I've seen. Like it's constantly breaking news, and especially around the. I mean, I don't know how much you guys want to talk about the Orlando thing, but
but anything, even Trump winning the thing, it's just breaking news the whole day. It was the same 5 stories. They were running through the same news cycle.
Did you guys hear about the lockdown at University of Toronto?
Yeah. What about it?
That was a big thing on Facebook, as far as what was on my feed.
Well, yeah, but we all kind of went there or were around there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I was wondering, what would you have done, Chris? Because that was like a block away,
Yeah.
Like,
what do you mean?
No, I'd probably would have gone somewhere else. I've been like, now it is time to skip school and go to the zoo.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I knew people that were working at the bookstore that were working. It was convocation, and they didn't. I'm surprised that they. I don't know. I don't know how bad the situation would have to be for them to cancel it, but they were still selling diploma frames and stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would just leave work or something, or would you get in trouble for that?
I don't know. I guess not. I don't know. I mean, I think you'd close down the school, but you're going to close down convocation. It's kind of weird. I wouldn't. Would you go? Would you go? At what point would you just be like, no, it's just city?
Well, I didn't go to my convocation anyway. I didn't think it was a big, I guess, family travels out for that and stuff. Maybe they didn't want to cancel it until they would absolutely have to, but
Such a hipster, Chris, not going to your own convocation. How do you know if you actually passed?
Actually, I was there, but I was working. I sold the diploma frames to the people from my graduating class as they came out, and I picked my diploma up like 2 weeks later.
Smooth operator.
Those ceremonies are awful anyway. You went to yours?
You have to. You don't
No,
know it's awful.
you
know
don't.
it's
They hold your diploma at the office. You still get the same diploma. You get it a week later, and you don't have to sit through.
But you know it's awful.
You went to school, and it was really an amazing thing that you did, going to class for 4 years, and you wrote those papers, and you passed all the papers, and you did good, buddy. You know, your future, and you're you guys, you as a class are going to be the next generation of people that do stuff.
They just recycle those speeches.
It's the same speech that
We're never like, secret, Obama was actually from Kenya. Now go out there. What? Whoa! Thank God I came to my graduation.
I never heard that happen.
The only one who knows. Yeah, big secret. Yeah, never. Yeah. It's like when my brother said once. He was like, "Why don't we go out and see a band?" It's like, because if anything actually relevant happened, it would be in the news, and it never is. It's always just happens, and no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like if there's ever like a giraffe or something, you'd hear about it. But there's never like band plays really good set at concert hall. Or what is it? Sneaky D's would like stop playing punk rock to go have like a 50s, 60s DJ, and my brother was like, "What hardcore punk band stops to make room for a 50s or 60s DJ?" Exactly, you're not going. And I guess that's kind of what convocation is. It's just kind of like, it's the same schlock as before.
Yeah. I didn't even go to my high school graduation.
You didn't go to your high school graduation?
No.
Don't you have to? It's like part of your high school. Didn't they just merge that into high school, whatever?
I remember being really sick during my graduation and like sweating underneath the gown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I had a fever.
And the only cure of 100 degrees.
I don't know. I don't really like those like obligatory kind of events. That, like, if I get married, I might blow off my own wedding.
Where's Chris? I'm not going. Stupid ceremony. Oh man, you're getting divorced so hard. Anyway, things you have to do, man.
It's the same wedding. They give the same speech every time. I mean,
it's always 1 Corinthians. It's always like somebody gets up there and says something about like dance like nobody's watching, and then they all watch you dance, completely missing the point of that last speech.
Sure.
And then for some reason the daughter and father dance together, which is creepy beyond Creepsville. I've never liked that. It's always weird to watch. And you have to sing songs with the word love in it, which is the easiest thing to come up with if you want the bride and groom to kiss. And like, you should just say, "I traveled here from whatever the balls and gave you a present. Kiss away." But apparently that's not good enough. I have to perform some weddings. Now, weddings are actually beautiful if they're done properly and like in a timely fashion. It's the ones that are like 9 hours.
Yeah.
And people never serve good food. It's never like, what a balling fucking wedding. It's always like, oh, the chicken is cold.
I went to one recently where they just had a pizza truck. That was kind of refreshing.
Sweet, yeah. It depends who's getting married. You can tell them by like how well they pulled off a wedding. Like, if this is as good as you can do a wedding, oh, you guys are in trouble already. No? Alright, fine. Whatever. Come on, this is the best day of your life, and it's... Oh. I don't know. It is weird that the best day of your life is the first one. There should be like a preamble, like a appetizer, and it should get better. And then you should have like a super wedding like 5 years later. You're like, would you really have your stuff together and know each other as a couple? No?
I don't know. People do that, I think, don't they?
Renew their vows? But then does anyone come to that? Or they go, you already had a wedding. Get out of here. Get out of town, Allison and John. We're not coming back. No.
Yeah.
Coolest thing you can serve at a wedding, chat. Let's know. What's the coolest thing you can serve at a wedding? What's the coolest wedding song you can play? Where you go, oh, sweet, when they play the songs.
Yeah, my buddy played, had some Between the Buried and Me on the playlist of that pizza wedding. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Pizza wedding.
Where they served, they had a pizza truck there or something. They played
that's awesome.
Between the Buried and Me, some other metal.
That's
And I don't even think like a lot of like his like it's a guy that I went to high school with, so a bunch of like those people were there, but it was like mostly grandparents and stuff in the building when they put on the metal. I don't know what the timing, why they timed it like that, but.
Oh, I mean, like, I like pro wrestling. It's gonna have nothing to do with my wedding, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think everything I like has to be involved in snow cones for everyone. Like, it doesn't have to happen, you know? Like,
what do snow cones have to do with pro wrestling?
Nothing, but just something else I kind of like. No, I'm just kidding. The point is not. It's not all about you. That's like the first rule of the wedding is it's probably not all about you and like homeboys paying the wedding. This is what Chris does. Wherever Chris goes, the metal follows, even if it has no purpose being there. Like, if you've ever had, like, breakfast with Chris, it's always like, smash you guys playing. Like, we went to a house party once for Chris's house warming, and, like, instead of just playing, like, a mix of everything, which is what you're supposed to do, or, like, light musaka background music, like you'd find in an elevator, so as not to distract from the conversation. Like basically bumper music for a radio station that is everyone talking. Chris has like nothing but metal.
I played different kinds of metal.
No, you were really stuck in like all the breakdowny
like
90s metal.
Truck and
that's true. I don't know. That's a little heavy, Corey. I don't know.
There was no thrash. There was no like. You were stuck in like 8-string, 7-string of degent. It was like a degent housewarming party, whatever degent means. I like how I think the chat has stopped because the last comment was Ali DeSaint being like, "Don't let your kid walk near the alligator pond," and that was like a million years ago. So if you're still alive, chat, you know, do whatever the electronic equivalent of like blinking your eyes twice is. Where are we in space, by the way? Oh man, that is. Are we getting shot at, or are those our rocket engines?
Yeah, those are our engines.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Look out, Chris. You're spiraling your turn radiuses.
I'm a fugitive.
Does it matter if you roll? That's just a picture. Okay. That's actually your flight of travel. Like you're actually just spiraling through space, knocking over the coffee every single time you take a turn.
I don't know what I did to deserve fugitive status. I think I launched without clearance, but does that really make me like a fugitive?
You're apparently harmless too. If you go back to your stats, you've been reported as harmless. So you're a harmless fugitive.
Right.
Your
There's
Interpol
no like
record. Yeah, it's 0. Your Interpol record is clean. So your wait, hang on. So your federal rank is nothing. So you don't have any like diplomatic thing. You've never held office. Your imperial title is outsider. So I guess I don't know. It's like being black in the South in 1930s. And then elite rating is harmless. And then you're federally considered not cool and other not cool. So I guess maybe you have allegiance to the third party?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Anyway.
Maybe.
So you're clean on Interpol.
All right. I'll stick with Interpol then.
Solid.
I'm trying to zoom out here a little bit. Yeah, the alligator thing, that's didn't quite become as big a story as the gorilla. Was it just the fact that it's a gorilla, or is a kid dying not as shocking as the gorilla story?
They're so lifelike when you look in their eyes, Chris, and an alligator is like a piece of wallet.
Yeah, but a kid was eaten. The alligator didn't die.
I don't know. I don't know why people don't make a big deal. I think it might be also because of the Orlando shooting and Trump and
there's other
news
stuff
cycle being different.
Busy week, yeah.
Because alligators are new to the whole vibe, right? Like alligators are recently new to that part of the world, if I remember correctly. No, wait, alligators are American. Crocodiles are, right? Not from there.
Yeah.
I always get this one confused. One of these things that I've looked up like 500 times and I never bother to remember. Like, what's an alligator? What's a crocodile?
Just remember in a southern accent, gator. That's a gator.
All right, then.
I don't know. People in the South say that, right? Ask Tommy.
I imagine.
Do you think they serve alligator in Black Mountain?
I hope so.
No.
When we go there, I want to eat an alligator.
I'd be down.
When are we going there?
Whenever you want, Corey. Whenever you want. No, seriously, when do you want to go? We'll figure something out. We'll have a GoFundMe to meet Tommy. It'll be like Playlist Live without the annoying kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going forward or backwards? Because you keep saying behind.
I think I overshot my target, and I'm just I don't know. I think I'm moving away from the solar system. I don't have any fuel to hyperspace to another star, so I think I'm probably just gonna kind of starve to death. Yeah, I don't know that there's any coming back from this, but we'll see what happens.
I didn't know that alligator meat is used in gumbo.
Are there different types of gumbo?
I assume so. As alligator might be difficult to come by in every situation.
Yeah.
Seeing as it can. Apparently, the way you stop an alligator is you pull down its jaws because it's like got no upward power. It only can crunch down like a stapler. But do you know how like tense you have to be holding down an alligator's mouth, like looking it right in the eye? Like that's your day. Like you're not coming into work at that point. Like people might be blowing up your phone. You're not reaching for it. You've got an alligator and like a life and death struggle. That's when like your deodorant really has to work. Like it really has to react to the heat of the stress of your body.
Mm-hmm.
Body heat activated degree for your toughest challenges. And somebody's got an alligator in a headlock. I'm so glad I wore my brown pants and used body heat activated degree deodorant. It was a really smooth move on this alligator attack day. Alligator. Is there anything more terrifying? Because they're essentially lizard saw. No? Come on, what's scarier than a crocodile or an alligator?
Sharks.
Oh yeah, sharks. The other sea razor. The other seesaw. But what just happened, Chris? Just blew up into a million pieces.
Yeah, I think I just like ran out of fuel or something. I don't know.
Oh, game over.
It's really, yeah, you gotta like, whenever I don't play that game for a while, I totally forget how to even like navigate it all. Scarier than an alligator? Yeah, I don't know. A shark if you're in the water, I think. If you're on land, I'd probably be more afraid of an alligator.
Okay.
I imagine their stumpy legs make them very, very shit at running, but
No, I think
bears or lions, like.
Yeah, true. Alligators are supposed to be able to run like incredibly fast for very short distances.
But that's the short distance part. They never tell you what happens after. Whereas I think grizzly bears have lived in the woods their whole life, so they won't be faced by a couple of long distance runs here and there. All right, the maximum speed for a human is 20 miles an hour. And most reasonably fit humans can exceed 10 miles per hour for a short distance, but that doesn't determine what it is. 10 miles per hour for what? It's possible that some small alligators might get as high as 25 miles per hour for a short burst. But large alligators generally can't get above 7 to 8 miles per hour. Very, very, very useless.
Yeah, that's not very fast. Did we talk about it on this show, or was it? I think maybe it was the old, our old podcast, Judd. That there's some, I don't know if it's all alligators. Alligators wasn't the main animal. There's a few animals that do this, but they essentially grow forever. Like the only reason that an alligator dies is because it's like either killed or like eaten or attacked or something, or it gets like a disease. But they don't age, and they would just continue to grow.
But then when they get so big, they'd naturally like hit a power line or something. like a giant fucking balloon.
Well, yeah, I mean some accident or something. But if you had like unlimited if you had the biggest pond in the world with unlimited food and no enemies, and it just lucked out and didn't get some kind of weird disease, a like 50-year-old alligator is just as fast and agile and stuff as a 2-year-old alligator. They don't like get old.
That's pretty friggin' cool. No, what we talked about in our old podcast is if you could have one animal zoo, like an animal zoo of only one animal, and Paula came up with entirely mosquitoes.
All right.
Extra room of mosquitoes.
Wait, didn't we? I think she suggested mosquitoes, and I said the other half should be clams.
Yeah, that was what it was.
But there should be like 6 or 7 miles of like forest in between the two. Like you can't see both in one day. Yeah, you have to like make 2 separate because it's the.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna make that T-shirt of like I went to Clam City and I was this lousy T-shirt.
Right.
The memories come flooding back. Why? I had a problem with your clam zoo, but I can't remember what it was. Like other than like it's gonna be a tourist bust because who wants to go there? But I had some other fundamental difficulty with your clam zoo, and it got to do with like the general cleanliness of clams or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just go there to get away from the mosquitoes.
All about positioning, man. You had to have one animal. What's the one animal at the zoo that you see and you go, well, what a hanger on? Like, doesn't need to be there. Like, who is the fourth line defenseman? Who is going? Who could go back to the minor leagues of living in the wild of all the animals you see at the zoo?
There's a lot of like BS animals at the zoo. Like, I think they had when I went, they had like a ball python. It's like, oh man, that like everybody has a ball python. Like,
yeah, they have snow geese
like,
at the Toronto Zoo. Like that's not that crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pigeons, you know.
Like if I saw a snow goose on my front lawn, I'd be like, that's kind of cool, I guess. But
yeah,
I wouldn't like pay zoo admission to go watch the snow geese.
Wait, they have a black widow spider at the Toronto Zoo?
I don't know about that. I can't remember seeing that.
And the American alligator? Let's go see them.
Yeah, let me talk about this thing quick here. So this is what I was talking about with the alligators. So there's a few different animals that do this. It's called senescence. And it's, some animals like alligators, flounders, and crocodiles do not die. Instead of aging biologically, they just keep on growing physically. We do see them dying, but they have the potential to live forever. Senescence is a term used to indicate gradual deterioration of the body with age. In simpler words, you could call it aging. Includes weakening of the muscles, lowering mobility, poor sensory acuity, and age-related diseases. So these are obviously all signs of like human aging that we experience. But yeah, crocodiles and some of these other animals it doesn't happen to them.
That's interesting.
But then you're ugly like a crocodile, so like, what's the deal? Like, you still look like the moon has permanent residence on your face.
Yeah, maybe we could like inject ourselves with crocodile blood. And has anybody tried that? I don't know.
He's a Batman villain.
You should try it live.
Yeah.
Like ripping through your own skin scales and shit.
I heard something like that. I was listening to a podcast on snake venom, and there's I forget the guy's name. This is like...
Oh, yeah, who injects himself with snake venom.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the same person we're thinking of. This person, I think, died in like the 50s or 60s or something, but I think he was the first one to discover that before anti-venom was like a regular thing, I guess.
But then he injected too much into himself and died, or what? How did he die?
Was it because he lived to 100 years old?
Did he?
Yeah, okay, so I guess he must have died in like the 70s or 80s, like a bit later than that, I guess. But but he started off very small, and then like by the last few decades of his life, he was injecting something like daily, like every day, over a dozen different like species of snakes, like venoms in himself, and I guess his blood was like so venomous, like eventually his blood actually just turned into venom. And he had vials of his blood where like he flew to Venezuela. He's American, and he flew to Venezuela, and he saved a boy's life just by giving him a vial of his own blood.
No.
So yeah, his blood was so venomous that like it was anti-venom, and he could save people that had been bitten by snakes by giving them his blood.
That is awesome.
I have to look up the guy's name. I forget who it was, but
Man,
yeah.
that is cool. So should I start injecting venom into my veins or no?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he just did it because he was afraid of. I don't think it was just getting a tolerance to poison. He actually thought that there were like health benefits to having venom. And I mean, like, the guy lived to 100. I don't know. I think
He died of snake poisoning.
I don't know. I don't think he did. But the government like shut him down. I guess he did try doing like human experiments with it and stuff, and they wouldn't let him do it to like other people.
Wait, what? Like he'd bite them and shit?
No, like he did trials where he injected people with venom, but
The government shut that shit down. Yeah, you're doing what? And they're like, yeah, you know, no, mister, no.
That's
not gonna happen.
the senescence thing. Sea urchins, lobsters. We could have a lobster that lives forever. Clams, hydras are some examples.
A hydra doesn't exist. A hydra is a mythical being, and
wait, why does it say hydras? That must be another thing.
Maybe because you've made up,
was-
have a list full of nonsense, and it's actually not true.
Unicorns, Bigfoot, Sasquatch,
Fairies, and
ancient
the
alien.
Yeti. Yeah, and the Yeti.
Puma, Punku. No, hydras are things. They're a small freshwater animal.
Well, there was wasn't there a thing where they found some sort of clam or something that was the oldest living thing on Earth?
Okay, I hadn't heard
The
that.
scientists took it out of the water and like broke it open and they killed it.
Oh,
Why the fuck would they do that? Oh, what a bunch of pricks. Anyway, like, you don't know how long this could go for, and then you have a record. You basically just stop.
Well, they just like found this thing in the water, like, whoa, wow, and they just like busted it open or something, and then they killed it.
Or they like breathe on it, like would it just fell apart in their hands?
Like an urchin or a clam or something. I don't know.
How hungry do you have to be? Like, come on.
yeah, I'm thinking that would probably taste pretty gamey.
You'd be so sick with diseases no one's had cures for thousands of years.
Yeah,
You'd be like, what is this?
the
Like
plague comes
ancient
back.
aliens.
Here's scientists instantly kill the oldest creature on Earth. Age 507-year-old clam.
No,
Why'd they kill it? Was it trying to kill them?
I don't know.
that's crazy. So I mean,
It was
yeah.
born at the time of the Chinese Ming Dynasty.
Yeah, that's an animal. I mean, that's not even like you hear about like old trees and stuff, but I mean that's an actual animal. That's crazy.
Like, this thing is only a few years away from walking upright and talking. Like, come on, guys. The stories it would have. It would know who like actually shot JFK and shit. Just kidding, it wouldn't. It would just know what happened under the sea. It'd be boring.
Yeah, apparently. So there's other vertebrates that can do the same thing. Tortoises, turtles, crocodiles, alligators, and rough-eye rockfish and flounders have not been observed to have aged biologically. That is the reason we have had a 255-year-old tortoise until the year 2006.
Right.
What do you mean they don't age? Have you ever seen how slow tortoises get?
Yeah, but they're born like that. They don't get that. slow.
Little tortoises like run like crazy. They're like across the beach. I don't want to get eaten by a seagull, and then they like jump into the ocean, and then they become slow for some reason.
Those are sea turtles, I think.
Bowhead whales have been found recently with antique harpoons embedded in their skulls dating back from the 1790s. So there's another one.
Or
Yeah.
someone chucked their harpoon, missed like a dodo bird, and then it's floated in there until somebody went like face first into it, like, oh shit, and now we're just floating around because there's no whale surgeons.
No, that's not the same. I mean, whales do age. They just live a long time, I guess. But
Okay.
So I like my theory of it just cranked into something.
yeah, this describes it better than I did. Crocodiles have no such thing as old age. A 7-year-old crocodile is as good as a 70-year-old one in terms of agility and other life parameters. Aging has no effect on them. Although they can't die of natural aging, they also can't live forever. Nature has a way of killing them. They die out of starvation or if they contract a disease.
Mm-hmm.
But
How come the one can run 20 and one can run 10? Why is one slower than the other? Just because of weight?
I would think just because of well, I mean, with your turtle thing, you're probably thinking of like completely different species are just gonna move differently or whatever. A crocodile from the same family and everything, regardless of age, I think should move the same. I don't know like how bad like why we're so bad at keeping animals in captivity, but like I mean, that would be the ultimate experiment, I guess, if we could have like a perfect conditions for a captive crocodile or something, and like try to keep it going as long as you could. What like here it says crocodiles keep growing throughout their lifespan, so it would continue growing. Eventually, it would just become too big for the pond or whatever that it lives in.
Mm-hmm.
As they keep getting older, they need a lot more food. When that amount of food is unavailable, they die from starvation. That is the reason we don't see 1,000-year-old crocodiles that are 50 feet long. But besides that, it's possible theoretically.
No, because it become too big and it'd be like a Godzilla situation, or if they get out of a city, we'd have to take it down.
Okay, yeah, but that's still like us, shooting it or something. In perfect conditions,
No,
could
I'm
be
saying that's why we wouldn't get to 1,000. Because do you know how big it would get?
What?
No, because you know how big it would get. Like holy smokes!
Well, this one estimates about 50 feet long at 1,000 years. I don't know. You'd think even bigger though, because there are already crocodiles that are like nearly 10. They have a record here. Well, they have a picture here of one they say is 8.1, 28 feet long.
Wow.
8.1 meters. And that's not the largest on record, I don't think. I mean, they've gotten bigger than that, but
I heard something that to tell the age of one is where the tail.
you count the rings on the tail.
Yeah. Some. No, like what are they called? How a stegosaurus has those like bumps on the back, fins
Okay.
or whatever. I don't know where they meet at
Yeah.
like E. And then after that is how many years old
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
yeah.
Just looking at the chat, Ali DeSaint says you guys just figured out some stuff. We need to study crocs and alligators and turtles, get their genome and combine it with ours so we can live forever.
No, but then we're slow as a turtle. What kind of life is that?
No, but the point is that you would.
I'll see you next Wednesday.
No, you would be good as 18-year-old Judd, as 180-year-old Judd. You don't turn into a turtle.
How do you know? This has been done before. I'm not being the first guy to morph
Is
into a
there
turtle.
like a peak? So
I'd be so shunned. I'd be like
life,
racism
or
beyond
crocodile's life,
racism.
is there a peak like performance level that it hits and it just stays at that?
It sounds like it would just be a mature, healthy crocodile. Yeah. But yeah, apparently scientists do want to study it to find out a way to halt the aging process in humans by mimicking the gene structures of these animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm down.
Will this make me more appealing to other animals? Like, will more animals try to eat me because they think I'm turtle? Like, if I smell it inside?
I'm not sure. It's not clear at this
There's
point.
questions that need to be answered here before we just go headlong into this.
Timmy MC asks, would 18-year-old Judd be a Trump supporter too?
No. I wonder what 18-year-old Judd would think of Trump. I wouldn't support him, but I don't know what I'd think of him. It's impossible to go back in time and think what you would think of, right? Because like I've learned so much in terms of argumentation and about politics itself, right? Just the game of it, and having worked in political organizations and stuff, it's different. But when I was 18, I didn't know anything. I wouldn't support him though, because he's ridiculousness.
I think I'd be a big Bernie Sanders fan if I was 18 right now.
Yeah, probably.
I like Sanders as is already, but probably be a little more vocal about it. Joey suggests do a Trump crush, Judd. I don't know what that is.
Don't know what that is either.
Is anyone here a Freemason? Asks Ali Desane.
You never. Yeah, first rule of Freemason Club is you don't talk about Freemason Club. Come on now. Anyway.
Well, what do you guys think?
Of?
Anything else that we need to get to here? I mean, I'm down to talk about senescence all day. Maybe we can crack this thing and be the first people to be
Live forever.
Human immortal alligator hybrid people.
No, society would kill what they don't understand.
Yeah.
If you thought like black people have trouble getting a cab, imagine like the difference between like white privilege and like human privilege compared to alligator turtle man. Alligator turtle man will not get a job. He'll be like, no. Are you human? Like, no. I'm like, we have no place for you at Burger King. And it'll be like, what?
You think it'd be looked down on?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I think so.
I don't know. I would think that, like, wouldn't it only be available to, like, the rich at first?
Oh, it might be elite. Oh, it might be even worse. Like the X-Men. They might be X-Men, but
Yeah.
instead of being shunned by society, they're now the ones shunning society.
Right. I think that's one of Alex Jones' theories, is that the globalists want to split the human race into like a subhuman, like servant species, and then a few hundred of these like elite, immortal lizard people.
Well, I mean, not to say I'm surprised, but he once again has produced something completely undefensible and bizarre. But I'm not surprised.
Just look at the pyramids, man, and it'll all make sense.
Exactly. Made by
Someone
aliens.
built something with a top.
Yeah.
Alex Jones. Has he come down? Isn't he like anti-Trump? When Alex Jones is like, no, when I said we need a political outsider, not like this. Bring back.
I think Trump was on there. I think Trump was on InfoWars recently.
Talking about what?
I don't know.
Someone posted a picture on Facebook. The worst mass shooting in U.S. history was not in Orlando, but at Wounded Knee, South Dakota.
Okay, what are they talking about?
The massacre of Native Americans.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, that's gonna make me single. It doesn't. It's not a competition, guys. I think that's the point of this. I think.
Yeah.
This is kind of sick. To be like, you think that's a mess? I think that's kind of sick.
You know, I don't know how much you guys want to get into that whole thing, but I know Trump has taken like a lot of flack because he went back, like he made that speech about immigration after or whatever, and then people were, I mean, you know, they had an analyst out there after, and he was like, oh, it's disgusting for him to come out and politicize it after a tragedy like that and stuff. But I mean, I don't know, Corey, isn't that post like have a bit of a I mean, it's not really, it doesn't really have much to do with the actual event itself, and it seems like it's
not at all.
I mean, whether the message is right or not, I mean, I think it's a fine message, but it's still, you know, trying to, I don't know, get some kind of political capital out of that almost, or something.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, it's just a picture. I was scrolling through and I saw it.
Yeah. I don't know. I hate always having to like I don't really like Donald Trump, but it just seems like he can do like nothing right in the media. But whether you agree with his stance or whatever, what's when something happens like this? Why is it so much more exploitive to go and make a speech about immigration when Hillary Clinton made a speech about how they have to tighten up like gun rules and stuff, which is a natural conversation to have after something like that, I guess. But it's still politicizing it, is it not?
But CNN gives money to Hillary Clinton, so you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Clinton News Network, right?
Oh, I know, it's ridiculous.
But I think somebody told me that in one of our comments. I think that I didn't fact check this. Don't quote me, but Google it. Tell me if this is right. The Clinton Foundation gave something like $3 million to CNN in this, like during this campaign.
Let's go find out. So Clinton herself gave them $3 million.
I heard.
Keep up the good work.
That's what I
keep telling everyone to
thought they
vote
told
for
me.
Find out.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bernie Sanders and the supporters and stuff are frustrated with CNN, especially seems to be just barely won't say anything like bad about Clinton.
Should I put
MH blocks.
What?
What's that? Did you find it? Is that true or?
I need the sense of yelling a bunch of conspiracy theories at us now. Okay. So. Yeah, gotta give me a second.
Are you messing around, or do you Sorry, the comment, they are setting this up for an assassination again. Just wait and see. What are they talking about? What do you mean, Trump?
I don't know.
What do you think the reaction would be like? If obviously something like that would be terrible, but
Well, it depends who his vice president is.
there's a decent chance. What's that?
It depends who his vice president is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it depends on that.
Yeah. Do you think people would actually be like excited about it though?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's gross to talk about even kind of, but just like if Trump got in and like he were assassinated, do you think that like obviously the mainstream news and stuff would
I don't know.
you know they
because we live in
they'd have to
world now, you know. Like in the 60s, I think you still respected your president. Like you, even if you disagreed with him, you respected your president because you're like, okay, he's still the president. You respect him. Those darn Russians are enemies. We're united as Americans.
Right.
I guess, you know. Whereas, I mean, at least as far as I can tell. Whereas, I don't know. Like
I mean, Rob Ford got a lot of flack when he was alive, and people were actually for the most part, pretty respectful when he passed away or whatever. But if if something said, well, the Trump thing is a whole.
No, there's too many.
What's that?
There's too many insensitive prick children who were raised improperly by their parents who would post something on social media that's completely disgusting. It happens now with every tragedy. There's someone who says something completely like you are so disgusting.
Well, you know American politics is just more over the top in general too, I guess. But the unpopularity of both Trump and Clinton is just it's like unprecedented almost. You wonder. Ali DeSaint says Hillary or Trump, even Hillary. This is not me saying this, but they're suggesting that whoever wins will get killed and that it's going to start the next war. Ali DeSaint, are you an Alex Jones fan? Is this where you're getting are you getting this information from InfoWars?
Here we are inside Bohemian Grove, folks. It's my friends who dressed up in costume to pretend they're high-ranking senators. I mean, it's where the U.S. government goes to cremate care. Fucking weirdo. Good old Alex Jones. Can we talk about him, or will he get up? Can you pull up any Alex Jones information?
Yeah, I don't know. Go on Infowars. Look at some
Would he be okay with us playing it? Because he's like, we have to get the information out there, or he'll be like, $20. I'm actually just a shell con man.
No, he's got to plug. We got to plug some like survivalist camping gear that Alex Jones gets a cut from to actually play any of his footage.
Stock up on corn, folks, but the government takes it away.
Yeah. Russia warns Donald Trump of assassination plot.
What?
An article here. A report written by the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service says that there is an active plot to eliminate Donald Trump and thereby his threat to the status quo. According to this report, found in the possession of 5 Saudi Arabian nationals detained by Lebanon's intelligence services this past Monday, after their private jet was forced to land by Federation Aerospace Forces, was a heavily encrypted laptop computer device. Lebanon's General Directorate of Security seized the laptop. Encryption access granted. Secret information, startling and confusing. It's not really clear what the assassination plot is exactly.
Guys, I gotta head out.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Hey, man.
See you later.
See you, dude.
Trump, man. Today I was listening to him. Well, can we go into Trump a bit?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. Because I've been listening to him talk, and I think it's absurd. Because he says things. I've started writing them down. All right, here we go. So, here's my favorite one from today. No one understands the horror of nuclear better than me. That was my favorite quote from him. I thought he was going to say when the Japanese, because he was talking about like whether he wanted Japanese people to go nuclear. He goes, no one understands it. No, better than him. No one understands.
Did he just say the horror? Did he just say the horror of nuclear though?
Yeah, I wrote it down. I wrote it down word for word. He said, no one understands the horror of nuclear better than me. And he said, we take care of the military needs of Saudi Arabia, nearly all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked, like, what is the number? What do you mean nearly all of it? And he goes, we take care of the military needs of somebody else, nearly all of it. That's an ambiguous number. That could mean like 6 out of 10 or like 9.8 out of 10. That's completely like, and he said, well, we even have to love our protest. We even have to love our protesters, is what he said. After he previously said you should beat the snot out of them. And he didn't like them, and he wished like there was a time when you would like get him out of here. Do you not remember this, Chris? When he was all like, get him out of here, get him out, drag him, go, take him. Remember, he has no place in my. Do you not remember that?
Yeah, how is that like telling people to attack protesters though?
Thank you. And I was just, we even have to love our protesters. And he says, then he said like, and don't our police do a great job? Don't hurt him now, Mr. Officer. Thank you, officer. Like, don't our police do a good job? I don't get enough credit. Our police are great. Aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky with, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's like clapping. And then
I didn't really get how that like language when he was using it though was like considered to be promoting violence, like to say when he was saying like get him out of here and stuff. Like, isn't that just like talking to like security to remove the people? I don't know. What?
There's a bit. He said more than that. What he said was, if you see somebody stand next to you, like beat him up. That's what he said. Hang on a minute. Trump on protesters. Just a minute. I got to get the exact quote because then you'll be like, oh no. I believe there was a time when they would be carried out on a stretcher. That was one.
Wait, what did he say?
I remember now, but because you said back in the day, there was a time when people like that would be taken out on a stretcher. That's how they'd leave. And you see somebody get ready to throw something, punch them right in the face or something like that. Maybe somebody has it right more, but I remember that. So that's completely different than we have to love our protesters and all that stuff and don't hurt them. you know, blah blah.
Yeah.
And we know what we're doing, folks. Believe me. Which is again, why should I believe you? That's my main problem. No one knows the
Sure.
horror of nuclear better than me. Just post that everywhere.
Yeah,
Donald
that's
Trump,
an odd one.
grammatically incorrect
That's
and
weird.
completely historically inaccurate, indefensible on all accounts.
Yeah.
Your president doesn't know what he's talking about. His president thinks he's like the best person playing Pac-Man, and he's not.
Yeah, I mean, the Republicans have really. It's funny that, well, I mean, Hillary and Obama have made statements and stuff since the Orlando thing, and they both talked about Trump almost even more than the event itself. And then Trump has went out since then and kind of had a speech in response to Obama and Hillary, and it's a little odd to see him walk out and there's nobody even standing with him. He's just alone on a stage now. It's that image is kind of, I guess, symbolic of the lack of support that he has even among Republicans now. But
yeah, you can play this for people. I'm not making it up. Here it is. He says you should knock the crap out of protesters. I will pay for the legal fees.
I don't think that's a real quote.
But it's right here.
Where's that from?
From him. His face.
Give me the link.
It's him. I have.
Okay.
Tree back. Remember that. This is the day we take our country back. Shh. So I got it on notice in case you see. We have wonderful security guys.
Well, yeah. Today he said he'll go it alone if he has to.
What?
Today he says that he'll go it alone if he has to.
And do what?
The whole campaign, because he has no party support.
Okay, but still, how is he going to pick a running mate?
Yeah, I don't know who would even be a viable candidate for that. Yeah. There's some person that one of the first people to drop out in the actual main Republican nominee race months ago. I don't even remember the name. They dropped out so early, but they're talking about doing a. They're still trying to maybe get a contested convention going or something, but I don't know. That would hurt. That would just be so bad. Even worse for the Republican Party, I think.
I guess so. I mean, I could only imagine, because this is going to be a black mark on their history, because they said we need an outsider from our, why? Why would you need that? That makes no sense at all. That's I need an unqualified fireman to really shake up the fire department. It's a romantic ideal that now in a world of corruption walks this breath of fresh air, this guy who cleans up the town, that movie where the guy plays for the Eagles, and it's based on a true story when they had open tryouts or whatever. But the dude was still an athlete. It wasn't like some guy just coached his own way up, you know? And I just didn't see why it's got him. And it's so weird because they failed to do anything with they won for a while with George Bush. They had George H. Bush, right? And then Clinton, and then Bush again. And okay, so what's the big deal?
I think that's probably
it's like they've been
probably part of the reason.
40 years or 30 years or 25 years or forever. They've been one term, two terms. That's it. I don't know.
I think that's probably part of the reason that people want an outsider in there is that it's been two families running the show for 20 years.
I don't think anyone's that sophisticated and put that together. That's the first time I think anyone's made that connection. If you know in the chat, what do you think? You guys live there. I don't. But what do you think Trump's ultimate legacy will be for the Republican Party, and what do you think their best course of action is at this point?
I think it'd be a lot worse for them to do a contested convention and just say, hey, all the delegates and stuff, all the primary voters, you voted we're not listening and we're just going to throw whoever the hell we want to in there. Like, why would you even want to be an engaged Republican voter? Like, what if it were me, if I was a Republican voter next election, I'd be like, what's the point? Like, they're not even, they're going to pick their candidate. That small group of establishment Republicans or whatever, whoever they want to get in there, they're going to put them in there. That's what's happened with even as a Democrat, I would be pretty like, alienated as a Bernie Sanders supporter. That, how huge are Sanders, his rallies and everything. He did a lot better as far as the actual votes, like the votes from people go, versus, but we'll give Hillary all the super delegates and we'll basically just give her the election. I don't know. Like, what's the point of even voting in a primary then? Like, Trump has his problems, but I don't know. Like, I think it'd look a lot worse just to be like, yeah, whatever. We're not even going to listen to the voters.
Yeah, I guess that's the point. I mean, you can't really do much with it because they voted. You can't. That's a democracy. Unfortunately, whether you agree with it or not, it's not really up to you to decide.
Yeah. You know what they should have done? You know what the best thing that the Republican establishment probably should have done? Like 3-4 months ago, Jeb Bush should have endorsed Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, brought the whole thing to a grinding halt.
Yeah, the unpopularity of, because he had terrible, he had the most money out of any candidates and was putting out ads like crazy and stuff, and he's just not a popular candidate. If they, I mean, that's giving Trump momentum, is that he's, people don't feel like they are listened to by the group that's been running that party for some time or whatever. So if they just threw their support behind Trump, then it wouldn't give him this like anti-establishment image or whatever.
But he is the establishment. He's a rich guy from the '80s. He's been established for years. It's part of his platform. He's definitely Wall Street values, not Main Street values. And if he just came out and said that and said, "Look, I'm not a coal farmer or a coal miner. I'm not a farmer. I don't know what this stuff is, but I'm willing to see it through or whatever." No, he resting his business laurels, which work in one setting. It's like saying I was a famous musician back in the '80s. I was part of Wham, so I am in charge now of the symphony, the jazz program, the bluegrass festival in the foothills of Idaho. Like I got all of the music now because I once had the top record in the country. That's what it strikes me as, and
yeah. I don't know. I mean, couldn't you say that he's not like as owned by the normal lobbyists and stuff that buy other politicians?
But his Senate or the other people he's gonna have to work with will be, and he already are, and he just endorsed the NRA because they're not the only ones who are owned by it. The public is owned by them too. Because the public, I have Iraqi war veteran 8888, and the first thing he said was, "This is not a gun rights issue." He's never gonna at least give an inch on this issue, right? Here comes Obama again to like incorrect. I'll get you an exact quotation. Actually, forget talking about it. All right. So here's Iraqi war veteran 8888 who has a channel on YouTube, and I want to know what he'd have to say. Now, he of course says there was a shooting in Orlando, Florida, last night at a nightclub that I'm sure many of you are waking up to hear about. It's highly likely, according to reports, that the shooter was blah, 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 who at one time was suspected for possible acts of terror, and of course, no action was taken. He was killed in a shootout with police. People, let's call this what it is. It's a people control issue, not a gun control issue, like all the left wingers are making it out to be. It's sick that in the wake of something like this, people are so quick to start citing gun control for a solution that could have prevented this. Guys, it's real simple. This was an act of terrorism. Let's call it what it is. And ideological logic can't write. The ideologically insane and evil person who happened to use a firearm for an evil purpose. More reason for us all to abandon complacency, political correctness, and laziness and be men among men. Hashtag be men among men. So already he's like, I'm not going to be politically correct. And that's the same thing that Trump said this morning. He was like, I'm not being politically correct. Right.
Yeah.
And then he also says, take a good look at this helmet. The man wearing it almost died, rescuing all the people in the club this morning. He was willing to pay the ultimate price to help his fellow man. That's cool. But he says, blue lives matter, right? And so do yours. Well, fair enough. But like, why do you have to turn into a political issue? Why not just say this man's a hero, right? Then he goes, all right, here, yesterday at 3:30 p.m., Iraqi war veteran says, hold on to your butts. Better get on the phone and start barking up the trees. This is sickening, but not a surprise at all. But the Obama administration continues to sustain the moronic rhetoric that banning guns is a way to keep people safe. Fight it at every turn and don't give in to their stupidity. They're trying to take us down with their sinking ship.
Yeah.
All right. And then yesterday, I did a show on Radio Regent where the woman in charge said, no guns. No one needs guns ever. No guns. Guns scare me. That's what she said. Guns scare me. So, okay, there's none, right? Like you can't, so there's never going to be a compromise. This guy says fight it at every turn, not help them to educate so we can all come to some common ground and make sure this doesn't happen again. This guy doesn't even know what the frick happened. And he's already, for sure, it's not a gun issue, guys.
Well, didn't Trump say something today that about he's willing to make some kind of change or just talk to the NRA about making changes about people that are under like to stop people that are under FBI investigation from purchasing guns.
I don't know why.
I thought Trump was like, what's that? That's not a thing.
Is it?
No, well, that's how this guy purchased he was under FBI investigation.
But that doesn't come up in the background report. I thought that it just didn't come up like by a glitch in the system or something like that, or it didn't get out fast enough.
It doesn't stop you from buying guns there.
When they're absolutely stupid as fuck. Make that a thing.
Yeah, that's
I'm sick. No.
Right.
You're under
the NRA. Yeah, the NRA doesn't really want to make any kind of gun reform changes or anything. So I don't think, unless they were pressed, they wouldn't even really want to change the rules to prevent that from happening. But
why is your default answer no? Like half you people are former Marines and Army people, the biggest protectors ever. You were so obsessed with protecting your family and your future generations that you would travel across the ocean and pay the ultimate price, but you're not willing to think, what can I do here at home to do the same thing? Look back into that part, the brave part of you that knows, like, when it's time to do the hard thing, do the hard thing. I mean, yeah, all right.
I think that the NRA is more. I would think that the NRA is more just like they, and I don't agree with this, but they would think of it more of as like a slippery slope kind of thing, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Trump is willing to compromise on that apparently. So.
All right, good for him.
I don't know. I mean, that should be that's a no-brainer to me. That people that are under FBI investigation shouldn't be allowed to buy guns. I mean, yeah,
it's absurd. And like, why a 3-day waiting period for handguns, but not a 3-day waiting period for rifles? Those 3 days. In 3 days, we've learned everything about this dude. Right? In 3 days, CNN has managed to pull up everything.
Yeah.
So maybe if 3 days of waiting, you could have found out more about the guy. Not a 3-day like waiting period. So if I don't just wait 3 more days. Well, no, then you can use it to do more intensive background research. And if someone ever pledges support, that's the end of it. It was not a joke. It was not a thing. You don't say that. It's the same way if you threaten the president, they take every threat to the president seriously. That's what it is, right? So why not the same for threats to human lives?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a problem that nobody's willing to compromise at all on either side. I mean, there is some kind of balance there. I think that I agree with the Second Amendment, but there should definitely be some kind of regulations and something that's standardized. That's like, I think a lot of it's kind of decided by the states, like depending on what state you're in right now. but there should be some kind of just federal rules across the board. And the NRA should like actually kind of, I don't know. I kind of understand that they feel like if they give in at all, then it's just going to go completely the other way, I guess. But what ends up happening is that you have, the NRA doesn't want to be involved in any of these reforms. They're 100% no, just free, open, it's completely Second Amendment. Don't make any changes to it. But then you have liberals. It ends up being all liberal lawmakers and stuff that put these new rules into place. And like a lot of them they're not as knowledgeable on guns as some of the people from the NRA and Republicans and stuff. So
really you could actually help.
I think you would have better rules in place if like people that were for the Second Amendment and were willing to actually compromise more or whatever and like work on those laws together. Like the stuff in like New York now where you have to you can have a gun can, I don't know, it's something like can only have like 7 clips or whatever, but they don't sell 7 clip
magazines. Clips are the things that clip into a magazine and then you put
right,
it in.
right. Yeah. So they only have 7. Yeah, so they only have 7. Well, like 7 rounds or whatever in a magazine.
7 bullets. You can fire 7 bullets in one go without having to reload the gun.
Right, but that doesn't exist. It's either 5 or 10. So I guess they've effectively banned
non-existent stuff. Yeah, well,
the next tier up or whatever by making it a thing that doesn't, but that's, I don't know, it's just an odd rule to me that like those guns are still out there, but what I can only put 7 bullets in, the rest have to be the other 3 have to be empty or something. Like a criminal is going to follow that rule. So I can still own the same gun, but I can't load it the same way that I did before. Well, only legal gun owners are going to follow that anyway, right? Like there's a lot of little rules like that it's like, but people that I'm not super knowledgeable about guns, but I think if people that were in, yeah.
I mean, it's obvious. It's the same way how if people want like fucking hand grenades and tanks, they'll find a way to get them anyway, right?
Yeah.
Or fighter jets. Oh wait, no, they don't, because the average person doesn't get stuff that's illegal. Criminals do that. That's just
but it's different. But Judd, you can own the same gun. You just can't put bullets in it the same way. So it's the same gun that's still capable of being loaded illegally. I mean, that doesn't make any difference to me. You have the same bullets, you have the same gun. I just can't put them in the gun. I'm not allowed to do this. So before I go on my shooting or whatever, like that's going to stop that's a completely arbitrary and silly.
Right. But here's the thing. If you there's one person in Ontario you can buy dynamite from. And if you buy a certain amount, you can only buy it every like 32 months. So there's a waiting period, right? For you to use it up. So if you go back a week later and do it, they'll think you're stockpiling it. They won't let you do it. So there's only one guy. So how hard is it to get dynamite? It's not that easy. If you manufacture 20 round clips and sell it or 20 round stuff and sell it legally, there's nothing preventing me from buying 100,000 of them. If that's my money, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of suspicious, but it's my right. It's like if I bought like 50 cheeseburgers, like it's not a crime. So there's no real reason to investigate, because people get upset on the left about like carding and things like that, which they have right to do so. So what do? And you make it illegal because there's no crime in being a drunk, right? You can buy as much whiskey as you want. It's not until you drive drunk that it's a problem. It's not until you start shooting people that it's a problem. So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, just my point is a lot of the laws aren't really making people any safer. Like I'm not against gun control, but it just, I think if the NRA was willing to budge a little bit and like, hey, let's actually put a few rules in place that like without completely infringing on people's rights, Second Amendment rights or whatever, but that if we're going to make a change, let's at least make sure that it's going to be something that will like even in the laws and stuff, they get like definitions wrong on what's considered an assault rifle and stuff. Like they'll point out certain guns and stuff and like, well, that's not what an assault rifle is, but they put it under that category and like.
Well, liberals do that. Like an assault rifle is an actual weapon of war where you can function between 3-shot single like bursts where it's 1 2 3 1 2 3, or single shot,
Right.
or you can lever it back to full auto. The point is, if it's my opinion is that if it's manufactured in the same vein as you're still getting that. Like a Mexican-made Strat still has the Strat characteristics of an American-made Strat. So you're still ending up with a rifle that's meant to function at a very well and high capacity, so that buffoons can use it to kill people. A revolver is much harder to shoot, so is a handgun at a far range. It makes a lot of noise, and a lot of people are more likely to be armed with handguns out in public. That's the thing for your self-defense thing. He did get engaged by people with guns. 2 security officers, 2 people had guns on them. So where's your argument? He was just overpowering them because he had better weaponry. So if you take that out of his hands, because this guy wasn't a super sophisticated criminal, he was a weirdo. He pledged allegiance to warring factions that didn't like each other, and which no criminal would do. A criminal doesn't tell you what they're doing. That's like first rule of criminal school. So he's obviously just like an insane person, and to give him this kind of weapon is irresponsible. So if you prevent him from doing that, it's the only way he knows how to do it. I would imagine. And then you can track that down. You can just go and say, well, who sold him this? A, B, C, and try and stop it, right? And in the vein, shut down a whole factory that's sending out illegal weapons or whatever. But if it's illegal, there's nothing you can do until it becomes a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So I think ban SIGs, AK-47s, and AR-15s. I said it. Those 3. I don't care what you feel, how you feel about it. Those are off the books now. I'm not going any further than that. 3-day waiting periods for everything. That includes deer rifles. You can hunt if you have a hunting license. And if you've ever had any kind of mental instability or whatever, you do not get to have one. And if you've ever been convicted or have been investigated justly a couple of times for some kind of crime, you're done. 2 or 3 times. Like if one time you get police get called to your home, whatever. But if it's 2 or 3 times, and it's the same crime over and over again, domestic violence that's you involved in, no. That's violent.
Yeah, they need to
call to his house. Like how many red flags do you need? The police were called to his house for violence. He was on the FBI. How many do you need? And people are saying maybe it's toxic masculinity. No, maybe it's gross incompetence of a fucking government at every stage of a game. So obviously this background check doesn't work. He just stepped through all of them. Every single one, to the point where he was buying body armor. There should be a bit where if someone requests something illegal, you should have to report it to the government. And if you're found not to, they'll close down your store. It is now your duty to report it. The same way it's the duty of a psychologist to report if someone's suicidal to whatever it is. Like if you're gonna have guns, treat them like adults and not like toys, and put some more responsibility in there.
Tractorhead says, what level of mental instability though?
Oh, that's a tough one. Any kind of thing where you're delusioned from reality. I think any kind of psychosis or schizophrenia should prevent, or suicidal or history of depression.
Yeah. Well, the FBI investigation, or what do they have in the U.S.? It's the terrorist watch list or something too.
Yeah.
Was it San Bernardino that the guy was on a watch list or something? I don't know. There was another one that was recent where he was on there, but those watch lists, another problem with them. I mean, it sounds like it's an easy thing that, like, if he shouldn't be able to buy guns if he's on there, but there's no it's not like a legal process that you end up on these watch lists. Like there's children that are on terrorist watch lists.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you were ever under FBI investigation, I don't know. It sounds like it's common sense, but like even that is a little. There's some gray area there, I think.
Within the last, let's say 8 years.
Yeah.
Fair enough. 8 years.
Well, that's the cutoff. If you were okay.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: they don't. When people could do crimes and then get let back out, supposedly reformed, they're still not allowed to have access to firearms. You ban ex-cons from voting and having firearms. Why? If you know what I mean. So you have no problem banning certain people from accessing firearms. You don't. So what's the problem with this?
Well, if you're an ex-convict, then you've gone to trial and you've been convicted and stuff. You can be on I mean, we could be on a terrorist watch list for just talking about the Trump assassination or something. Like people end up on there for weird reasons, right? So
All right, so that's not a judge then. We'll take that off the list.
yeah.
Even though
But I mean, doesn't it sound crazy though that somebody on a terrorist watch list can buy a gun? That also sounds insane. So
why
you
was
know,
he
I
on?
don't.
And
Yeah.
is there a standard we can use? Like there's levels of it, or he was on for X or Y, the same way you have
Right.
boxes to check
Yeah.
for any other kind of government form. There's a way you can state this and regiment it so that it has a structure and a rubric to it.
Yeah, I just don't think that, I think that both. I think people need to compromise on the issue a little bit. I'm that is the worst thing about the whole debate is I think there is a common ground that people can come to. It's just like the discussion just isn't getting there.
Yeah.
Like, is anybody really against does I think there's very few people, gun owners that are arguing against any background checks. But somebody like the NRA or gun lobbyists and stuff just don't even want to have that discussion.
They need to say we're only going to end it here. I promise to stop at these. These are the 5 things I'll do and no more. And no politicians say that because I don't know why. That seems so reasonable to me. But holy God,
maybe we're just too reasonable people for
this world, Chris. Let's go drive to New Mexico. Let's get away from it all. Actually, no. Can I go to New Mexico? I mean, there's good old Mexico. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to wrap it up in the next few minutes. Tractorhead kind of brings up a point. I mean, I don't know if we want to go down this whole road, but he's talking a little bit about like profiling Muslims and stuff. Donald Trump said, I think he doubled down on it today, that he's pushing the surveillance of mosques. What do you think about that?
Surveillance of mosques, or first off, can you survey? Can you? I mean, can you go into someone's place of worship and like record everybody?
I don't think there's technically anything stopping you from going to a mosque and just like seeing what's going on. But
okay, first off, you're gonna like look into something, sure, and just send someone in there casually. All right.
Right.
Like, have you ever done this before, Donald? Like, come on. Have you ever spied on your competition before at work? I'm sure you have. You're an 80s businessman. You don't tell them about it. I mean, maybe but is he going to also profile churches? There was Ron Owens played a sermon from a Baptist minister who was really who was really praising this action, right? It's not limited to just that. There's nutso people everywhere. And how much of an effect does that have on the people listening to it? I see ads all the time for certain things. I'm not going to buy them. So it depends. And then can you tell someone what they can teach in a church or in a mosque? That's a personal freedom of which America was founded upon. It's almost as sacred as the right to bear arms. Can you do that? Should the government, as a separation from church and state, separate what you say? Does Trump know enough about that region? I mean, I don't know. There's none of those people. I'm not too sure. I don't know. This guy was a lone wolf. And again, I don't care what people's reasons are for doing anything. I've heard 100 possible armchair psychologists talk about this. I could give a crap. If he couldn't physically do it, we're all good. He can be as nuts as he wants to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not out to save the world's brain. But if you give him an assault rifle, he's going to kill people. He's a dangerous man. He's mentioned to coworkers he wanted to kill people.
Well, that's one of the things, and I don't know. Maybe that ties into the mosque surveillance thing. That I think often when people do something like do a terrible shooting like this or something, people say that they typically try to seek permission from somebody before doing that. Like it's very rare. It's very rare that nobody has any idea that they were. And I mean, if they can tell somebody beforehand, it almost like justifies it in their mind or something. So I mean, if he had talked to somebody at his mosque or something, and like kind of said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing something like this," and they hadn't gone to police, is that grounds to start doing surveillance on all mosques? I don't know.
Are you gonna do? What about where did he work? Why don't we go there too?
Right. I mean, yeah. Is it fair to single that out when? Yeah, I don't know.
Because they had an interview with the guy from the mosque, and he was the most gentle person I've ever seen. He obviously was like shaking,
Mhm.
quiet. He was quietly shaking, right? But he was just out there. He's seen some stuff in his time, so but he was very prepared. He wasn't, no, and there's numerous people. I mean, we live in a city full of people. Like I see numerous people with headscarves every day. I'm not fearful of it. I think there's a middle America where I don't know. Does Tommy know any Muslims? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Has Tommy
Yeah.
worked
No, I would.
alongside them? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that as a point, but I'm just saying you can make a
Hamza.
Muslim man out of.
Hamza.
Oh yeah, Hamza.
Mhm.
Actually, I think.
I think he actually does identify as Muslim, Hamza.
Oh,
I
is
don't
he?
know if that's
Oh,
yeah, but
okay.
yeah.
So anyway, Hamza. Every time I think of Hamza now, I just think of him being like explaining to that reporter about how Tommy wanted all these explosions. Like, well, we'll see what we can do.
I like my favorite part of that news bit was the little graphic under Hamza where it says Tommy's assistant. That's like his title.
Maybe I like how they now play it up. Like, I need to find a new assistant now, Hamza. Great. Very good. Hamza. But the deal is, but a Muslim extremist is a term for like that's like, well, what about Christians who bomb abortion clinics? They obviously don't represent the whole of. To murder another human is an extreme end that most people don't go to. People in general, right?
Yeah.
Like it takes a grave situation to push someone that way, or mental instability. But no one wants to fund mental illness or whatever. I mean, Florida did start redoing that, so it's good for them after years of not. And then they weakened a bunch of gun laws. Samantha Bee does a whole good bit on it, so I won't reiterate it here. Just go check out Samantha Bee on the gun laws.
Well, there are certain cultures that cultivate that kind of violence, though. I mean, like like
like the
even
Irish
just
Republican Army, like the Irish Republican Army,
or,
or
yeah,
the Ku
or look
Klux,
at
or the Ku Klux Klan, or the Bloods, or the Crips.
yeah. Well, yeah, that was going to be my thing. Was gang violence is like that. I'm sure there are people that are maybe would be serial killers or something that just end up being like gang bangers just because they happen to. But there are a lot of people that end up in that world that I don't know that they're predisposed to doing that. I mean, maybe to some extent or something, but I think there is a real cultural element to some of that stuff.
I think it's funding. No,
Mhm.
I know. A Tractorate says I'm not saying all Muslims are terrorists, and I'm not getting my point across. Maybe so. I won't continue just to not like say they can't
Right.
fund
No,
stuff.
I hear what Tractorhead's saying, and I understand that. I don't think that you should have to qualify what you say every time by say. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody believes that you're saying that all Muslims are this or whatever. But yeah.
It's hard because I know what you mean. You mean I would just say religious extremism would be maybe a nicer word to it. Because like Trump's like, why doesn't he say the two words? Well, saying the two words doesn't radical. Okay, so she said radical Islam. Now will a magic genie fly across the ocean and fix it? Like, what do you mean? Like saying two words just plays to your base or panders, but it's again not a solution. It's like when people say, let's not ignore the elephant in the room, like toxic masculinity or whatever. And like, what
Well,
about the
it
first? What about
doesn't.
the first? What about the first school shooting being committed by a woman? What does it matter? I don't care why someone did something. How do you prevent it?
It depends on how they react to it. I feel like maybe there is some merit to singling out, but saying radical Islam or something. If the response is we really need to identify and focus on the fact that extremist views in Islam or something have become a problem, and the response is, hey, let's integrate Muslim communities better into America, make sure that these people don't feel alienated and stuff. I mean, if focusing on a certain group or something doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, we need to exile everybody or anything. I mean, you can take positive action
Well,
just
the
by.
police did it here in Toronto. They did like a mosque outreaches and stuff, and
Mhm.
I guess just integrated the computer. I mean, but then people get suspicious of it, and they're like, "Oh, the cops," right? I don't know. I don't know. Say what's up. Go to an Arabic food place and just try to give some food. Because the thing that I remember once, because working in community radio, you get all these great pieces. My friend Hala did a piece on Kaplansky's Diner, who is Jewish, and he funded both the Jewish Film Festival and the Palestinian Film Festival. Right? He funded both of them because he wanted both groups' views to be heard. And his point was that when people, if they're hugging, can't throw rocks, right? So the point being, if you're close to people, you inherently become friendly. If that makes any sense, like familiarity breeds friendship. I mean, me and Chris are friends because we went to the same school, right? Otherwise we wouldn't know each other. So my point just being that if you maybe go do some outreach, go meet some people, go see what you can do, you know. But I guess yeah, I mean, it's not. I think maybe it's also a regional thing. Like certain groups are being sponsored, right? Saudi Arab and terror is being sponsored across the globe. They have professional websites and stuff like that. They fought Nazism, right? Nazism was confined in a way to Germany. It was also part of Canada and stuff like that. There's black and white pictures of people in 1939 supporting the Nazi Party here.
Mm-hmm.
Nazism is a political ideology. It's not relegated to Germany. So we did fight it through programs and like just getting it in people's head. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. You can do it the same way. People can be brainwashed, or you can brainwash them the other way. It's possible. Like if you expose something to something enough, that's how people get over fears, right? If you're afraid of heights, you eventually get exposed to it. It becomes nothing.
Right.
I mean, you can if you put enough media out there, you can fix people's brains or stop. You'll never stop everyone. That's the other problem with this. Is the Japanese curse, may you live in interesting times. It's never going to be a perfect solution, and it's sad and it's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I mean, I think Trump is a public relations disaster. Because this stuff and the way it's phrased can then be taken out of context and utilized to be, look at this American politician, criticizing blah 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 blah, right? And
yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know about that.
What?
Well, you're saying that they're going to use clips of Trump or something in like ISIS propaganda?
Probably.
Is that what you're getting? Like that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how they select what their creative process is like, but the people.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that whole problem. There's so many recruits and stuff coming from within America, and like it's expanded so much in the last 8 years. What is Obama's like sensitive approach or whatever? Is that really
a week before on PBS? He said they don't allow me to prevent. They said that the no-fly list, people on the no-fly list, he can't let them fly, but he's not allowed to tell people not to sell them guns. He can't get that passed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on the no-fly list, you're too much of a risk to travel.
Right.
Right. But you can buy a gun. What the crap? So he said that. So it's not his problem. I mean, it's not. He wanted to do the opposite thing that would have prevented this from happening because he was, I think, on the no-fly list, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, I'm going off on this for a long time because I think it's an important point, and I think by silence you end up causing problems. And that's my three. I got three simple things. You're on a no-fly list, no, and if you've been investigated by the government within a year, you're not allowed to even go to a gun range or do anything. Right? You're not allowed within a year, and after 8 years, maybe you're allowed. You might be allowed to go to a gun range, but not allowed to buy stuff. All right, or at least 5. We'll do 5. 8 sounds harsh. We'll do 5 just to start. Okay. And then 3-day waiting period for any weapon at all. Thank you. I don't care. And with that, there's an extensive background check. And any of the things that came up this time, domestic violence, any predilection to violence, no. Suicidal, depression, any medical stuff, it's there. And if you don't want to give up your medical sensitive information, don't buy a gun. All right, that's the end of it. It's like if you have a peanut allergy, don't go to a baseball game. And that's about it. Oh, and maybe look into banning 20-round magazines or clips. I'm not sure which one it is. right?
I don't think I just disagree with any of that, really.
What's wrong with that? And maybe banning. My big push, which I'd been put in my second year, would be like now let's try to get rid of AR-15s and SIGs and AK-47s from the general populace.
All right. Well,
And
let's get on it.
that's
Why don't you?
That's it. You can have a handgun. You can have a shotgun. There's lots of stuff you can shoot things with.
Okay. Well, you go ahead and run in the next election, Jed. I'll support. I like those ideas. I'm behind that.
And anyone who knows more about guns, I mean, I know I'm on my soapbox here, but anyone who knows more about guns or anything, maybe if you have that doesn't work, but this might work. Or what do you think would be the most logical or the best, or even the best? What do you think would actually be the best solution? Because you obviously can't get rid of all guns in a day. You already have too many in the market, but what do you think would be the best solution to maybe curb the gun violence?
I think maybe we can continue this discussion next week at maybe if Tractor Head's willing to talk or something. I think he might have something on that. Yeah, this could be a whole other show though. We'll.
I'm sorry, it comes up.
I probably will contact Tractor Head. Maybe we can do a show.
Or why don't we
another
talk
show.
to Iraqi war veteran or Twang and Bang or some of the other people?
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I've fired a gun. Have you ever fired a gun before, Chris?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Because I actually have. I'm one of those liberals who actually wanted to learn about what they're talking about. And just the AR-15 to me is just too easy. It's too easy a gun to utilize. It's idiot proof. I not even used it, but just a rifle just used to aim. Because an AK-47 you have to set the sights and clean it and all that stuff.
Right.
Everything's just buffoonific. And like a handgun, like I only could shoot a shoulder of somebody. Like if you're not a trained professional, you can't really do too much. Like when that guy came in and shot up the parliament a few months ago, like he only got one person down, and he was killed by the who is it? The governor? Who was the one of the Canadian politicians who had a gun in his drawer? He came out and he killed him. So if you only have handguns and rifles, you're okay. But if you have an AR-15, obviously you can hold off 2 armed security guards, and the SWAT team has to show up. So it renders your police inoperable. It defeats the NRA's "if more good people had guns" hypothesis, because it gives somebody such a better gun that it's.
Okay, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap. Any teasers for the next show, or maybe I'll play the wrestling name game with Adam Pacitti if he ever gets back to us. Okay. And you got anything coming up this week there, Chris?
Well, I mean, that sounds fun to me. If we can set that up, I'm still in contact with my. I have to get out to Toronto to do this show, but I still think it'd be fun to do something on like mysticism and dream analysis with Julia. But maybe we would have to meet up in Toronto, so that'll still happen. Possibly next week. We'll confirm.
Shot it.
And yeah, check back throughout the week. I'm gonna post some other various stuff. But thanks for watching, guys. Carrie, Timmy MC, Tractorhead, Joey, if you're still there. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Tell your friends.